604 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. We are starting off your Wednesday at 50 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Drove into work with the windows down this morning for a quick second. Then I put them right back up because I was like, oh, yeah, cool night air, and I'm just getting my voice back. No. We don't need that. I don't need to enjoy right now. Let me make sure I got the pipes. I got a busy show for you this morning. Attorney Franz Borghardt is in studio. We'll be doing Legally Served coming up about 20 minutes from right now, talking about rights for illegal immigrants. We'll have that discussion and a few more when Franz is up in just a little bit. State Representative Michael Melerine going to be in with us at 7:15. I'm super duper looking forward to this conversation. There are going to be a number of battles in the legislature over insurance, and Representative Melarine's bill, I believe it's House Bill 4, either 30 or 450, one of the two. If you're a nerd like me, you'll eventually go look that up. But he's taking on the Housley presumption. What is the Housley presumption? Well, if you get into a car accident, you can see anything that's ever bad that's happened to you in life happened in that accident. Pre-existing conditions, you get like a bum wheel, you got a bum knee. Okay, you can presume that it happened there because it can't prove otherwise. This challenges that. I love it. I love the conversation. Michael Melerine, 7:15. We've got Renee Amar from the Louisiana Motor Transport Association at 7:35. We're going to talk about, car insurance again. I mean, insuring a fleet is damn near impossible in Louisiana, and that's what we'll cover there. 8 o'clock hour, diving back into the tech world, this time with Nexus Louisiana. Their new president and CEO is going to be in studio with us at 8:15, and we'll wrap up our guest list with the Maha Moms. You heard the governor make reference to them in his State of the State address to kick off the legislative session. These are moms that want, basically healthier options in school for their kids. Some of the legislation that's being passed or is being looked at that they're into, State Senator Patrick McMath's bill that we had Senator McMath on about it. And I got to tell you, the more he told me, the more I was on board. So looking forward to speaking with Laura Rodrigue at 8:35. But we can't do any of that unless we start off with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
The East Baton Rouge District Attorney's Office will not prosecute a state trooper accused of domestic abuse, officials said. District Attorney Hiller Moore confirmed they are not pursuing charges against Louisiana State Police Trooper James Jefferson due to concerns about the probable cause to arrest Jefferson.
Number 4.
St. George is set to welcome its first namesake cultural festival this spring, the latest mile marker in the journey to build a community identity in the newly incorporated city. The festival, called the St. George Culture Scene, will be held on the third Saturday of each month. It will offer an art market, live music, and local cuisine in a casual, family-friendly setting.
Number 3.
A 3-year-old was injured in a shooting on North 26th Street, according to the Baton Rouge Police Department. That shooting happened around 6:40 p.m. last night. Neighbors on the scene said a car rolled up and started shooting at a group. The condition of the injured child is not known at this time.
Number 2.
Another shooting a couple of hours later. This time we were on Ardenwood. This one was at about 9 o'clock-ish. BRPD responded to a shooting on Ardenwood. I've got no other information about it except that someone was shot.
Number 1.
2 big corporations reached an agreement to begin construction on a carbon removal facility as they say would be the largest removal effort in the world. Atmos Clear, a company under Fidelis, and Microsoft have signed a contract planning the removal of 6.75 million metric tons of engineered carbon over 15 years. Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber was a player in this deal. She's going to join us tomorrow to talk about it. What's trending, John?
Well, on Tuesday, President Trump called for Harvard to lose its tax-exempt status after the university said it would not comply with the Trump administration's series of demands, including actions on anti-Semitism and the use of DEI on campus. So, Trump's like, hey.
I don't know why reducing anti-Semitism is so hard.
Right?
That just, I mean,
I mean,
DEI can take on many different definitions.
It
can
can.
be a good thing in places, but until you flip the script and you end up pigeonholing everybody based off of their race, not being inclusive, being check boxes,
yes.
that's where DEI goes bad.
Yep.
But just not being can we just agree that we're just not going to be anti-Semitic? Is that so hard?
Yeah. One would think, and Trump's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna freeze over $2 billion in multi-year
Was it
grants.
billion? Billion?
In grants and
we
contracts.
give that much money to a private university?
Yeah, I'll double check it.
They are a private university.
Yeah. Yes. Over. $2 billion.
Okay.
That's a lot of clams.
That's a lot. That's a Massachusetts pun.
That's a lot of clams.
Hey, speaking of Massachusetts puns, you saw where DOTD hired the Boston Consulting Group to kind of audit themselves a little bit and figure out how they wanted to revamp.
Okay.
I find it interesting that they hired the Boston Consulting, the city that's known for the Big Dig. The biggest transportation boondoggle in like the last 100 years.
Oh.
Yeah, let's bring in someone from that hometown. Sorry, that's neither here nor there.
But still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, Brian, the list of what you can carry on an airplane is about to expand from full-size deodorant and toothpaste to sealed items from the duty-free shop. TSA is adding 11 items to the list.
Can you say duty-free shop without thinking of Seinfeld? Like Costanza, I'd like to stop at the duty-free shop. Costanza and Kramer going back and forth.
Yes.
I know that's an old pull. That's an old pull.
No, it's
a
still
dated reference.
Still works. Among those 11 items, though, are fresh eggs, live fish transported in water.
Are you kidding me?
No kidding. Wet batteries. I guess that's batteries that can.
Wait. Live fish?
This is yes. This is. Let's see.
So, like, if you throw the ping pong ball in the little goldfish jar and you win the goldfish at the fair,
there you go.
You just get right on a plane.
Yep. There you go. Ice packs, baby formula, breast milk, food and drinks for toddlers.
I like fresh eggs though. That's a good one.
That is cool. Yeah.
To bring on a plane. Egg fight.
Yeah. It's like you got eggs on this plane.
Those are like gold now.
Yeah.
Eggs on a plane.
Eggs?
Eggs on a plane right there.
Yeah. It's like
I'm tired.
We gotta get these eggs off this plane.
Might only be for first class passengers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Because who else can afford them?
Production of television shows, feature films, and commercials all declined in the Los Angeles area during the first 3 months of the year, according to a new report.
I saw that.
No real
I saw that.
big movies or
television,
commercials, everything.
Or is it that more and more states are getting competitive in the field?
Absolutely.
Louisiana has a wonderful film tax credit that brings revenue and jobs into the state. It's not about movie stars coming to town.
Nope.
It's about your neighbor having a job.
That's right.
Georgia has a wonderful film tax credit.
Yes, they do.
It's close to 30 states that have some level of film tax credit. Is Los Angeles finally starting to see the real pinch here?
That people aren't willing to pay, man.
So what's stopping other states besides Georgia and Louisiana from jumping on board this?
Oh, there are, Nevada, New York. There's
it's I guess it's location setting, like if you're doing something in the desert.
It's a matter of if you have a state government that's smart enough to see the money at the end of the table. Right. It's a matter of, because if you've got a state government that's so short-sighted to say, we're not going to go ahead and support Hollywood. We're not going to be run by Hollywood. No, just shut that down right there. And the flip side of it is the legislators who don't know how to do math. The legislators who say, well, we're losing all this money because they're making their movie here and we're giving them credits for it. If we took away the credits, we'd get all this money in. No, you would just lose the project. And 0 minus 0 is 0. Right. So, yeah.
If I make all this more money, I gotta pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
Well, you're making more money.
Yeah.
That hit me this year. Speaking of yesterday being tax day.
How's this though? Only 13 TV pilots were shot in LA.
Really?
Last quarter, which is the lowest tally ever observed by Film LA.
13 TV pilots. 13. There's no way you have the pilots.
Oh.
You don't know. You don't have a list, do you?
No. Okay. I can look it up though. I'll have it for the next hour.
That's what we're going to do next hour. I want to break down what we think would be a good pilot.
Yeah.
That's, is the reboot of Wings coming? 614 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. McNeese came into the box hot, and they cooled as quickly as the temperature did. We'll talk about it next.
Your voice is sounding much better
Than last Wednesday.
Still got a little something going on there, but it's okay.
Night air. I was at a party last night. That's outside.
I was at a party last night. Was it a nice party?
It was a reception.
It was a reception?
It was a legislative reception.
Lovely. I'm going to a Rotary meeting today. Maybe.
Me too.
Every time I see the invoice for Rotary, I'm like, why am I not going to these meetings? I'm paying for the lunch.
You should at least go get the food.
Yeah, who's talking at our Rotary Club today? You don't even know. And you're like a bigwig there. I just sit in the back.
I am but a scrub.
I don't want no scrub.
I have to dance for my lunch. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't fun though. Doing the Rotary New News.
Yeah. Keith, you do know what a pilot is, don't you? You do.
I don't watch television. That's your second Samuel L. Jackson in under 10 minutes.
That's right. I feel like I got 2 more in me before the end of this thing. I dropped one last night. I was talking to my brother about something, and I did the Avengers. Yeah, you say you want peace, but it kind of seems like the other thing. Big Kahuna Burger? That's that Hawaiian burger joint. I hear they have some tasty burgers.
We have a Hawaiian burger joint.
I would totally get a Hawaiian burger with you anytime you want to go get one.
What's the name of that place? It's off of Blue Bonnet at Jefferson, or off of Jefferson and Blue Bonnet.
I know.
The Izzo's is in front of it. There's a Subway in the same strip. Yep.
It's like a Hawaiian burger joint, like Spam burgers. I mean, now look, don't be sleeping on Spam. Spam can be done right.
Spam's awesome.
I'm not hating on Spam.
It's just too much salt is all.
Well, I'm not saying eat Spam every day. I'm just saying it's a special occasion kind of thing. Can good meat come out of a can? I just don't know the answer to that. The Cove.
That's it.
2 points. Troy. So I thought of you yesterday. I was getting some Uber Eats, and I was in the mood for some Asian food. And
you got Chang's?
I was motivated.
It's fantastic.
I like that spicy shrimp dish they do.
The firecracker shrimp.
Yeah.
You got the cut that I sent you?
Yep. 1.2.
1.2.
Got it.
It's in the rotation now. All right.
It's there.
618 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. LSU needed a get-right game at the plate, and for the most part, they got it. McNeese rolled into town. McNeese was kind of hot coming into the game, so this was not your normal midweek game, or so we were told. But Jared Jones, he had other ideas.
He'll stand in with a runner at first and 1 out. The first pitch, he will launch in the air to center field. On the run is Westenberg to the track, to the wall. And how about making up for the weekend? A 2-run bomb for the Bear. Right center field way, and LSU takes a 2-0 lead. Jared must have heard us talking about it down there.
I'm sure of that. The ball was destroyed.
Look, I know I'm supposed to be talking about the game itself, but we often overlook how blessed we are with the pairings that we have in the booth with LSU. Chris Blair's awesome. Chris Blair's awesome with on the call, but Doug Thompson is so good on the side. One of the things that Doug does on a regular basis is he's like a little league coach at the same time. He'll describe the play, but it'll also like remind you of all the important lessons you're supposed to learn playing baseball. And it's like 3-4 times a game. It's like, I hope you're paying attention, kids. Anyway, LSU posted 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 4 more in the fourth, another one in the fifth, and another one in the eighth on their way to a 10-3 win over at McNeese. They got Alabama coming in the box for a Thursday, Friday, Saturday set. That way you're all done before Easter Sunday. We'll preview those tomorrow right here on Talk 107.3 FM. All right, 6:20 is what we're coming up to. That means we're going to check the Fox Business Report. We will check traffic on the back end of that. Attorney Franz Borghardt's in the house. We got Legally Served next.
Can we get a universal Easter break? Some
Right.
schools are like in break right now. Some schools are in break next week. And can we make the Monday?
1000%.
Can we make the Monday after Easter maybe a holiday?
Like just that crossover day?
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean, I can't imagine.
My kids are off this week.
Let's say you traveled for
Doesn't make sense.
Easter and you're like flying home on Easter Sunday. That's not good.
Right. Yeah, not only that, but like you're wiped.
Yeah.
Number one, you're losing your holiday.
I'm
Number
okay
two,
if you do before Easter or week after Easter. I just want consistency.
Right.
well, I will say I prefer the kids having off the week after Easter and being in school during Holy Week because we send our kids to a Catholic school. So all things being equal, there's a lot to learn this week. So
For sure.
My kid's taking a test this week, standardized test.
Because that's what I would think, right? Send the kids to
Terra
school
Nova.
this week, be off Good Friday, have next week off. Like that's
yes.
at least
Yeah,
have
look,
Good
when you have a
Friday.
job you love doing, you're always off. I mean, it's. I don't know where where am I?
Wait, what are we doing?
I really want to go to space, but I don't want to go to space.
Like
I
you wanna,
I want to like moon.
yeah.
I don't have to get out of the ship. I just want to I feel like 11 minutes is like,
You're gonna go that far and not get out?
I want the girlfriend experience of space, not the lap dance. That's what I'm saying.
The 11 minutes is the lap dance.
That's what I said. I want the girlfriend experience of space. I don't want the lap dance.
I'm saying
I mean, I would get out if I could,
if
but
you're going to the moon, why stop with your hand up?
whoa,
her
whoa, whoa,
skirt?
whoa, 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 whoa. Here it is. If they let me out of the spacecraft
That's what
to
I'm
like
saying.
bounce around,
Yeah.
I'm doing it. But what I'm saying is, that's not a hill I'm willing to die on. Like,
Oh, and
like,
you will die.
like
Yeah.
if they're like, hey, you can go up for 11 minutes, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not going to risk my life for 11 minutes. If you're like, hey, you can go to the moon, like,
And speaking of that, have you seen the shape of the ship? Just look up the shape of it.
it looks
big
like a
dildo. going
it looks like a
places.
yeah.
It looks like a dildo.
How'd you die? St. Peter, I was on a ship that looked like a penis. And it blew up.
Well, she put it back in her nightstand when they got home. 623, Talk 107.3 FM. Rolling over to 624. Time for a look at traffic. And here's what we got going on. Actually, not a lot going on. There's some minor delays on 12 westbound near Range Avenue. That's the only problem you're going to see on the interstates this morning. We're looking great in both directions on 10. We're looking great on 110. Both bridges are wide open. In fact, once you get past those slight delays on 12 westbound by Range, it opens up nicely for the rest of your drive. That being said, stepping off the interstates, taking a look at the surface streets. Nothing going on surface streets as well. This is about as good of a start to a Wednesday morning as we can get. Let's do our best to keep it that way. $6:24. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. You know how we do. Attorney Franz Borghardt's in the house. Let's get it. What is this? What's happening, Franz?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
I trust you're well.
Dude, if I were any more well, I'd be in space right now.
That's for 11 whole minutes. Those women went to space for 11 minutes.
There's a lot of wonderful things in this world that can happen in 11 minutes. Or shorter.
Some things twice. But
I'm just saying, if I'm going to space, I mean, Katy Perry, air quotes, went to space.
She did.
On a rocket.
So did Gail King.
Yeah. So, okay. Normally, we painstakingly try to find the topics for this segment.
Yeah.
And then sometimes things just happen.
Right.
I was in a parking lot yesterday and I was talking about this immigration situation where the government may have accidentally deported somebody that shouldn't have been here. And maybe that person's in a maximum security prison in their country of origin. And I was talking about, the Supreme Court ruled that person gets due process and has rights. And the question I got in the parking lot, my good buddy, shout out to Wolf, said, wait, illegals get rights? And I said,
question.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
That's a good place to start.
Well, yes. Because who gets what? Why do they get rights? Does the Constitution protect them because they're not citizens of this country?
So your Supreme Court, our Supreme Court, the Supreme Court appointed by the people, Congress. They've said historically, by the president, but advice and consent of Congress.
Senate.
Senate. The people, the Senate. I don't know why I'm air quoting a lot today. The Senate says, okay, you're on the Supreme Court. And that Supreme Court historically has said, you know what? People that are here illegally, even though they're here illegally, even though they're breaking the law, they get what's called due process. Okay? It doesn't mean they get to stay here illegally. It means before we boot them, before we put our proverbial United States size 13 foot on their back and push them out the country, back from which they came, they get a hearing.
Okay.
That's it. That's the long and short of it. Why they get a hearing? Why do they get the constitutional rights? Because the Supreme Court has said that this Constitution that we enjoy, it's not just you and I as citizens that get to enjoy it. It's everybody that is physically here. Due process, equal protection.
See, that's the part that I think a lot of people split with.
I don't like it, right?
Okay, but it doesn't. So that's still the what, not the why, Franz. The Supreme Court said so. It's not. We're not petulant children. It's not because I said so.
I'm giving you the legal why. I'm not saying that's why it should be.
You're giving me the legal what.
Yeah. Well, that's the background of everything else.
Said.
I think it has to do with the
why
fact,
did they say?
I think it has to do with the fact that they're humans, and that since they're humans, we believe that humans are illegal aliens not humans?
No, they are humans.
I mean,
yes.
Aliens might not be. But
no, they are humans 100%, but they haven't signed up to play by the same rules that we do. In fact, they've gone out of their way to make sure that they missed signing in on that book on the way in.
I don't necessarily disagree with anything you're saying. The kicker about this story, and I know we're about to hit a break, and we can maybe better background it. The kicker is like now federal courts are like, hey, you need to like get him back here, and that's a conundrum, right?
Because El Salvador says no.
We're not letting this dangerous person out and about. So yeah. Now here's the thing. If you're here illegally, you get a hearing, right? But it's also, by the way, it's also a crime. You can also be prosecuted for illegal entry and being here illegally.
Right.
What's the proper term for people who are here illegally? It's not alien.
It changes by the minute.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, we'll look it up during the break. It's 6:30 at Talk 107. Wait, seriously? All right. It's 6:30 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We're going to check ABC News, then our local news, traffic, weather. We got attorney Franz Borghardt, and we do legally serve at this time every week, and it will continue next. 8 seconds off already. 8 seconds off this clock is.
Oh, goodness gracious. Eric says the next Armageddon Franz can play Rockhound. I don't want to play Rockhound. I want to play the big green mile guy. What's his name?
Michael Clark Duncan.
I want to be Michael Clark Duncan. Right, riding on the motorcycle. Definitely don't want to be Affleck. That's yes, Byron. Inalienable rights. See what he did there? Inalienable.
They cannot be alien to it. Yes. No. There's actually legitimacy to that. Mm-hmm. I did some reading last night.
I think this is just a cluster. Because, like, we know that Trump is not going to, like, send people over there to get him. And El Salvador is not going to send him back. So, like, are we going to hold Trump in contempt? Probably not. And then what resources should be used to get this person back?
Those are taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, that's you and I's money. I just paid some tax money.
Now, hang on, but the argument to that is, well, blame Donald Trump because he's the one that sent them there. Let him pick up the tab.
Well, you know, I feel different about that topic about taxes, depending on what time of the year it is. Having just cut that check, I'm like, woo!
So I need to start having more withheld from my paychecks because I had to actually cut a check this year.
I will tell you, as a small business owner, I pay myself a salary. I'm an S corp. Withholding more from your checks, in the short term, it stings a little bit, but at the end of the year, you're like, oh, okay.
Most financial advisors will tell you it's stupid because you're giving the government an
advance
interest-free loan.
Yeah.
And I say, no. If that money were in my pocket, I'd do dumb shit with it. So
I have historically done dumb stuff with my money. As you've been to my house before, I can do dumb stuff with money. I can go over the top with stuff.
Yes.
I
believe the term is shrine.
It's tame. It's tame now. I've
moved on to another addiction.
No. It's still that one. Thank you, Brian.
Accountability is part of the brotherhood, sir.
Yeah, on the radio. I like it.
No, it's just on Facebook.
Yeah, who's watching that? 15 people.
It's
more than 15 people.
No, it's a lot more. And I found out last night, like, there's a whole. So I saw an old high school friend. Well, he was 3 years younger than me, so we weren't exactly typing. My old man and his old man were like besties. And so I saw him last night. Bruce Marketing does great work for Hogs for the Cause these days, raising millions of dollars, and he's an awesome dude. So I was like, he's like, what are you up to? And I'm like, I host a radio show in 6 to 9 a.m. on Talk 107.3. He goes, yeah, no, we'll watch it. Or no, I says, no, yeah, no, I stream it. Whole bunch of us do. I'm like, wait, what?
Mhm.
So yeah, shout out to all of Covington this morning.
Dude, you're famous in Covington? That's
I was
hot. That's hot.
infamous in Covington for a hot minute.
That's hot.
Good morning, Christy. Oh. They needed to recut this spot because it sounds like he was. Oh, it sounded like he was going to say something else, and then he said "fregulated." We're fregulated.
You know who I haven't talked to in a while that I'd like to share some airtime with? Po' boy Troy.
I talked to him yesterday.
I could
In
use
fact,
some,
I got to swing by and see him today. I don't know if he's going to be at the restaurant today, but
I
I
need
think on
some,
the way out of Rotary, I'm going to swing on by.
I need some pro boy Troy time.
Same. I'm aiming for the first Friday after Lent's over to talk roast beef.
I think Rocco should make a
That a
spam.
Simpsons character?
You know, if anybody could make a spam po' boy. I mean, you could make a spam po' boy. You could do it. What does that look about? You're not against it.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out how to name it after you.
I'm sure the
you
viewers will help you with
A
this.
spam po' boy.
A spam po' boy named after conceptualized by Franz. A po' boy.
Alleged po' boy.
Some of my favorite meats come out of a can.
$20 years in the can. I wanted a gut, but I compromised and had a grilled cheese on the radiator. Time to get a look at your fork. God, it's nice and cool this morning. Can we keep that, Emma Kate? .637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got attorney Franz Borghardt in for Legally Served. We're talking about how and or why do illegal aliens get the same constitutional rights that we do. Now, they don't get all the same constitutional rights. They can't get benefits. They can't work government jobs. They can't vote. But when it comes to due process, apparently they fall into the same category as we do. And apparently this dates back to like the early 1900s.
Right.
And it's slowly morphed over time.
Mm-hmm.
So
you don't have to like it.
No. But I do have to question it, though.
Right.
Because at each stage along the way, okay, reading from constitution.congress.gov. Okay.
I mean, that's a better source of law than Franz.
In 1903, the court in the Japanese immigrant case reviewed the legality of deporting an alien who had lawfully entered the United States, clarifying that, quote, an alien who has entered the country and has become subject in all respects to its jurisdiction and a part of its population could not be deported without an opportunity to be heard upon the questions involving his right to be and remain in the United States. Okay, entered the country legally and has become a part of our society. That's a huge difference than where it is today.
So we have this thing. I know it's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. We have this constitution that says that when we start seizing people, because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about search and seizure. They get due process.
Not according to this. In 1903,
But
they
that's
did not.
not the only
They
case.
did not. No, I understand. Eventually, the Supreme Court, hang on, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Eventually, the Supreme Court extended those constitutional protections to all aliens within the United States, including those who entered unlawfully, declaring that aliens who have once passed through our gates, even illegally, may be expelled only after proceedings conforming to traditional standards of fairness encompassed in due process of law.
It's part of the issue that if you have two guys standing next to each other and pick whichever ethnicity you want, it's not readily apparent, even though I know some of the viewers and listeners would say, no, it's pretty apparent. You know, I go to Home Depot and I throw up a couple of fingers, get a yard work done. No, it's not readily apparent by just looking at human beings, whether or not they're here legally or not. That's the due process. The government, before they deport, has to prove that you're not here lawfully, right? And I know that seems annoying. I know that seems like, why do our taxpayer money have to do that? I get it. But part of the trade-off of liberty, if I'm on my soapbox, is, hey, I can't just look at people and say, hey, you're not here appropriately.
Part of the trade-off of liberty, sure. I'll concede that. But part of the protection of living in a dangerous society that we do live in, and living in a dangerous world that we do live in, is this is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So every time you want to reference the Constitution, we have the opportunity to change that, okay? And the Supreme Court apparently can do so whenever the bleep they feel like it.
Dude, I remember Schoolhouse Rocks.
Yeah.
I'm just a Bill.
Yeah. No, and that bill was sad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Until he made it through the whole process. Anyway, my point being is this country is our home.
Right.
Okay. If a guy enters your home illegally,
yes,
does he have due process before he has to be escorted out of there?
Actually, so, I mean, he gets due process at all ends of it. Now, however, here's the thing.
He's getting Glock process, probably.
God, ooh, I like it. You know, you can throw those guns in water and they still work. Anyways, here's the thing. I hear everything you're saying, and I don't fundamentally disagree with it. I'm just suggesting to you. The problem is, like, and look, the ridiculousness of the case we're talking about is, like, a court saying, well, you got to go get him. Okay.
Yeah, that is stupid.
I mean, we're not talking about, hey, I accidentally extradited someone to California, Louisiana, you got to go get him. That's a little different. Hey, you got to go to El Salvador and go get him. And El Salvador, by the way, this El Salvadorian president was like, yeah, we're not sending him back. So, like, what are we supposed to go to war with El Salvador over this dude?
I think we could take him.
I thought my brothers and sisters from El Salvador, I always thought we had good relations. Some excellent food too, by the way.
Is it?
We have an El Salvadoreña restaurant on Nicholson. If you haven't, shout out to them. They're not sponsoring me.
They're right there. Yeah, they're not far from campus.
Oh yeah,
they used to be a pizza
near
Hut.
Mathern's.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's
better place to
4 blocks. But no, if we were to come to go to war with El Salvador, I think we'd be okay. Hey, Honduras, I'll give you $10, and they'll take care of it for us.
So my
sorry, no, I'm not. I stand by that.
So I can understand why a citizen who's lawfully here, that lawfully pays taxes recently, note less, is like, wait a minute. You're telling me my taxpayer money has to go to DOJ and to the federal government so that we can spend resources, time, and effort to decide if it's okay to kick someone out of our country that should never have been here in the first place? Mm-hmm. And it really chaps people's fannies, drive time. It really chaps people's fannies when it's like a repeat offender. Like, right. Hey, didn't we just kick you out a couple minutes ago?
Right.
Because, by the way, it's not exactly difficult to get into our country.
Correct.
Which we should have a wall.
And what you're making the argument for that, by the way. I mean, I know you're being half kidding.
A wall.
I know you're half kidding, but you are making the argument for it because you're not afforded that due process until you get here.
Can't get into the country. You don't get no due process.
Damn good point.
And I think a lot of
solid point.
And I think a lot of citizens would rather their money go towards better, tightened security.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Then it is harder to get on an airplane than to get in this country.
Yeah, that is also true.
Yeah. So,
All right, I know I'm not going to get anywhere by asking again, but you keep referencing the Constitution. I'm not talking about the Constitution.
By the way, nowhere in the Constitution does it to give you love, because I know this is your position often. There's nowhere in the Constitution that says illegal aliens or people who are not here appropriately or unlawfully get the same constitutional rights as people who are citizens. And maybe it should. Because you know what we could do?
What?
We could change the Constitution. It's not easy. I'm not proposing that we do this. I'm saying if you don't like it, we can and have changed it.
But we don't. It's not the Constitution that's the problem. It's the Supreme Court. Going right back.
Trump has some solutions to that too.
Well, but it's already in there now, so it's harder to dig your way out. But they have
no problem. The Supreme Court has no problem going back on previous decisions, and
they've got to have something brought to them, though.
Right.
Well,
this is it, right? This is the case.
It'll get there. I think it'll get there.
I think you might be pleasant. I'm making a prediction. If this gets to the United States Supreme Court, I think the United States Supreme Court is ultimately going to say, no, you don't have to go get him.
Oh, yes. But what about the next one?
I don't know.
That's to me, this I'm done. Like I honestly can't believe there's that many people want to die on this hill. Like,
it's a weird hill to die on,
isn't
right?
it though?
Yeah.
An El Salvadoran who was here illegally.
Now look,
he was here illegally to begin with. He just wasn't the criminal that everybody thought he was.
Was there a lawful that now that is a big being here illegally and committing the crime of being here illegally and being a part of organized crime here and being here illegally are two different things.
Yes, they are.
So I don't know.
I agree with that.
I don't know enough about this Joker to know if he was contributing to society. Was he paying taxes? Was he, he was paying some taxes, right? He was sales taxes. But what was he doing? He could be a perfectly good guy. Sucks that he's now in a maximum security prison in El Salvador for gang members, right?
Right, but not my pig, not my farm.
Right.
Like he was here illegally and now he's not here.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand the digging in of the heels here.
You want to die on the hill of education, making sure everybody has a great opportunity who's a citizen here. You want to die on the hill of healthcare. I get that. But, it is what it is. It looks like you're getting messages from listeners.
Plenty of them. Yes, I know. I'm taking some people off. Oh, the restaurant's La Salvadorena, not El Salvadorena.
Sorry. Yeah. It's delicious. The pupusas there. Oh, delicious.
Shout out Del
I need to get them to sponsor this segment for us.
Work on that. I'm here for it. I don't have any other El Salvadoran.
Oh.
I think they would be exclusive in the El Salvadoran cuisine space.
I mean, I don't have a lot. They have a food truck too.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Oh, of course they do. La Salvadoreña.
All right. One more time, because you cut me off on the last one.
Sorry.
The Supreme Court extended these constitutional protections.
Correct. It's not congressional
The people
law.
didn't. The Congress didn't.
Well,
the Constitution didn't. The Supreme Court did.
Okay. The people who interpret our Constitution and law.
So when they do that, they don't just say we did it because we said so. They normally have opinions that go along with this.
In the 2 minutes I have left,
yes,
I could prepare a very long discourse on this, a memo, brief, whatever you'd like. I'm just telling you, I'm condensing it down, and it has to do with the inalienable rights that everybody has. Unfortunately, just by being here, by breathing our air.
Right, and I'm not trying to be all Judge Smales and this guy's Al Cervic, but Caddyshack reference. My references are getting. Am I getting old? My references.
I haven't gotten
old.
A good Samuel L. Jackson reference from you today.
Well, you got more of them than we needed to on Facebook already. So, but I'm not trying to. You boy, Bushwood, sir. That's not where I'm at on this. I'm just saying, like, if Al Cervic was invited in, right? This guy was not. And just to say, hey, you know what? You get all the things that every member of Bushwood gets. Al Cervic, Mr. Wang, Ty Webb, you're all on the same playing field here.
I think the unfortunate reality is there are a lot of people that are here on visas, on other legal methods.
Yep.
That are going to have a little bit harder of a life because of this, because there are folks that don't distinguish those people from people that are here illegally.
But it's because we give so much leeway to the people who do it wrong that the people who do it right have to suffer.
Right. And how do we feel when we're doing it right and we suffer for the wrong people? How do we feel about that? Not good.
No.
Right?
No, I know.
So
I know.
love you guys. Have a happy Easter.
You too, Franz. Love you too. We're coming up on 650 at Talk 107.3 FM. We're about 10 minutes away from a power hour, y'all. Dreams come true, power hour. Coming up next hour, we'll give you all the details in just a little bit, but I can tell you right now's the time to go to talk1073.com. Click on that Dreams Come True donate tab, and I'll tell you what to do right after we get back from break. 650, here comes your money now on Talk 107.3 FM. Again, never in the history of the Supreme Court has the answer been because I said so. They give detailed opinions. Can you get me 4, 5, and 6 here? It's a good segment, by the way. I don't think he likes it when I read. Because he can't just do, well, if you don't like the Constitution, okay, Franz. Love you, brother. We need to go deeper. Shit, he was supposed to reference P.F. Chang's.
Yeah, he was saying he ate there recently.
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't the least bit offensive at all, was it? Hey, Honduras, I'll give you $10 to go kick their ass. Jesus. Was that Facebook crew? Was that offensive or what? All right, piss off. Guatemala will do it. Hey, Honduras, here's $10. Go kick their ass. Oh, you won't? Hey, Guatemala, here's $20. Go kick both their asses. Eric says those senators should worry about the U.S. victims of these gangs, but who cares? Yep. You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong at all. Spot on. 6:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right, I teased it going into the break. We got a power hour coming up, y'all. In our next hour, it's the Dreams Come True Radiothon, been going on all month long. We'll continue to go on all month long, but we got Easter coming up. We're taking off on Good Friday. I don't want to see us drop off when it comes to the donations because, out of sight, out of mind, right? So here's what we're going to do. All through the 7 o'clock hour, any donation that ends in 73 cents. So let's say you want to donate $10.73, like 1073. You're going to be eligible for, we're going to put all those donations in for a drawing to win a pair of tickets to Rob Schneider's show. Okay? Rob Schneider's coming to Baton Rouge. Rob Schneider Live. Talk 107.3 welcomes Rob Schneider to the Raising Cane's River Center on May 16th. John? On May 16th for his
You Can Do It
tour. That's right. That's right. It's not the Like of the Juice tour.
You Can Do It.
It's
and
not
you know what else you can
Making
do?
Copies tour.
You know what else you can do?
What?
Donate
Donate. That's right.
for a chance to win.
Yes. So any donation that ends in 73 cents all next hour, you are eligible to win 2 tickets. You're in the drawing. It's just that simple. Power hour going on all next hour. All right. We're going to talk, speaking of raising money, we're going to talk about the Senate race in just a second. Do need to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. LandmarkBankLA.com is where you're going to find the great folks at Landmark Bank online. Now, when you go to LandmarkBankLA.com, you can pull up their list of different branches. For example, the OG location up in Zachary. Oh, LandmarkBankLA.com, they have no bears in their lobby. That's the new tagline if you're up in Zachary. Sorry. Founded in 1897 as a community bank. They are still a community bank today. They take care of your personal dreams, your business dreams, whatever the case might be. And they do so by not just having a bank, but having a banker. When you have a community bank, you have someone you can turn to who knows where you want to be in life and can help you get there. Start them off at landmarkbankla.com. And again, Zachary location, no bears in the lobby. Should we do the Senate story or should I follow up on why that's funny? There's bears in Zachary. Like there's the reports are everywhere. It's all over Facebook now. If you're in Zachary, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was, who sent me this the other day?
Hide your wife, hide your kids.
Bro.
Everywhere.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, this was Slaughter, not Zachary.
Okay.
I butchered it. It was Slaughter.
You slaughtered.
Yeah, Slaughter. Community discussions on civics and concerns. Their Facebook group right there. They got pictures of bears all over the place.
Oh.
Video of bears too. It's. In fact, they went through pulling a lot of them off because not all of them were legit. Like people were posting stories from other places and whatnot. But this is where we're at now. Up in Slaughter. Oh, no. I was right. Okay, I found the post. I was right. It says going into Zachary on Highway 19. It's somebody posted on the Slaughter Community Discussions page. And yeah, there's a bear smack dab walking across the road right there.
Okay.
Big old black bear walking across the road. So.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's about that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Bears, I mean, they come, they come out of hibernation. They start roaming around a little bit as our populace grows and we start growing out into places that used to be their habitat. It gets to be our habitat, and these little circles on the Venn diagram will cross from time to time. And, before you know it, you got bears on Highway 19. Bears! We'll talk about the Senate race in the next hour. Or, you know what? No, we'll blow out the outside end because that's an important story. We'll do that. All right. Right now, we're coming up on the top of the hour. ABC News coming your way. Hour 2 is next at 7 o'clock. Hey, Rich.
Hey, what's up, player? on, man. I like the roll up stuff, man.
I can't. It's hot on the third floor.
Hey, you saw Sid's initiative, Pray for the Parish. I just did my own Find Their Fathers. That's awesome. I like that. You saw the guy that arrested Marco with the tube in his nose? No. Oh, dude, I can't wait to talk about this. So the woman who stole a daiquiri machine? No.
I did see that. I did see that.
Unbelievable. It's this freaking town. It's just, I want to.
Well, was she here? I thought she was up in Point Cafe. Was that
I
woman
think, was
here?
it Hammond or something? Man, whatever.
Bro, Hammond is like low key dangerous now.
Every place is good. Name me one mid-sized city in this country that's as safe as it was 30 years ago. Name me one.
Covington.
Sometimes you gotta, you can't be a homer all your life. You gotta stop it. Hey, what loses Brian? Hey, what loses Brian's defending these days? You got some name?
Oh, we talked about that illegal immigrant got deported to El Salvador. You'd have been proud of me.
I'm always proud of you, Big. So what do I tell you every morning to come down and get your coffee?
How proud you
She's
are,
still
Brian,
playing
right?
hide and seek up there with the ghosts. I can never find his ass.
Knock on the bathroom door. You'll find me.
Your balls are consistent.
I'm not saying anything's happening while I'm in there, but
Oh, man.
I gotta find room on the show tomorrow. We gotta talk about the school board. I don't know what to do. Tomorrow's show's stacked up. But they're gonna close a bunch of schools apparently.
In Louisiana or just in general?
Baton
Locally?
Rouge.
Baton Rouge, okay. Shoot.
We'll see if we can hold off till Tuesday. Oh. Can you go let Michael Melerine in as soon as it comes to me, and I'll kill off a live before we do top stories and trending. 7:05 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane off and running, or hour 2 off and running right now, and we got a busy hour for you. In our next segment, in fact, I'm sending John downstairs right now to go let him in. State Representative Michael Melerine is going to join us. We got to talk about the Housley presumption. I know that just what is that, like an episode of Andy Griffith? No. The Housley presumption is if you get into a car accident, every injury you have, you can claim was the result of that car accident, and it can't be questioned, it can't be challenged. So if you have, if you were hanging up Christmas lights and you fell off a ladder and hurt your back, and then like a month later, a year later, you get into a car accident, you can say the back thing came from this as well. And it can't even be questioned. If Representative Melarine's bill passes, that changes. The question then becomes how. How does it change? We'll talk about that with him in our next hour. In our next segment. Also this hour, let's talk about car insurance from the standpoint of the Louisiana Motor Transport Association. What are they looking at in the legislative session? Renee Amar is going to join us at 7:35. Speaking of cars, let's move from insurance to repair. Vex European is here for you. VEX, VexEuropean.com. My guy Vinny and his team over there off of in the backside of Industrialplex on Benefit Drive. They've been at it for over a decade. In fact, celebrating 10 years in business over at Vex European. If you drive a Mercedes, a BMW, a Jaguar, Land Rover, Audi, you know the rundown. In fact, if you don't know the rundown, hit up VexEuropean.com. See that little tab that says vehicles. Hit that. If you see your make of car on there, they've got a master level technician here for you. It's at VexEuropean.com. In fact, I need to call them because if they're open on Good Friday, I am way overdue for service. Doesn't have to be major repair. I'm going in for an oil change and just to make sure everything's good. So, VexEuropean.com. All right, top stories and trending. Let's get it.
Number 5.
Saw this one yesterday and didn't want to skirt past it, but the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board proposed a series of campuses in the district to close, vacate, and repurpose the buildings. So according to a graphic from the school system, the board plans to recommend closing Barnard Terrace Elementary, Capitol Middle, Idea Bridge, Idea Innovation, J.K. Haynes Elementary, Ryan Elementary, Westminster Elementary, and Winburn Elementary. The buildings to be vacated, Capitol High, EBR Readiness, J.K. Haynes, and Westminster. Repurposed would be Belfair Montessori Magnet School, Barnard Terrace Elementary, Capitol Middle Site, Ava Lagarde Center, Ryan Elementary, and Winburn Elementary. Tell you what, let's put out the feelers to the school board, see who we can get on to discuss this in further detail.
Number 4.
East Baton Rouge District Attorney's Office is not going to prosecute a state trooper accused of domestic abuse, officials said. District Attorney Hiller Moore confirmed they're not going to pursue charges against Louisiana State Police Trooper James Jefferson due to concerns about the probable cause to arrest Jefferson in the first place.
Number 3.
St. George is set to welcome its first namesake cultural festival this spring, the latest mile marker in the journey in building their community identity in the newly incorporated city. The festival will be called the St. George Culture Scene. It'll be held the third Saturday of each month, going to offer an art market, live music, and local cuisine in a casual, family-friendly setting.
Number 2.
A 3-year-old was injured in a shooting on North 26th Street, according to the Baton Rouge Police Department. Shooting happened around 6:40 p.m. Neighbors on the scene said a car rolled up and started shooting at a group. The condition of the injured child is not known at this time. There was also a shooting on Ardenwood about 9 o'clock at night, but we have no other information other than that someone was shot. Don't know their status. Don't know anything about suspects or motives either.
Number 1.
2 big corporations reached an agreement to begin construction on a carbon removal facility that they say would be the largest removal effort in the world. Atmos Clear, a company under Fidelis and Microsoft, have signed a contract planning for the removal of 6.75 million metric tons of engineered carbon over 15 years. What's trending, John?
Well, on Tuesday, President Trump called for Harvard to lose its tax-exempt status after the university said it would not comply with the Trump administration's series of demands, including actions on anti-Semitism and the use of DEI on campus.
And the anti-Semitism feels like an easy fix.
It
Don't
would
be
seem that way.
anti-Semitic.
But
DEI runs afoul of a lot of different ways, right? There's a lot of good principled things that get glossed over as that, and I understand that. My bigger question is, isn't Harvard a private university?
I believe it is.
And they're getting $2 billion?
Yes, Trump is freezing $2 billion in multi-year grants and contracts. So, oh man.
Yeah. No, look,
serious about this.
If they're doing the work, if they're doing the research and they do it better than anybody else, so be it. It's just alarming. It's just not alarming, eye-opening. Eye-opening to say a private university getting $2 billion public dollars.
Yes, and according to the Republican administration, they are more committed to activism than scholarship. So there's that. The list of what you can carry on an airplane is about to expand, from full-size deodorant and toothpaste to sealed items from the duty-free shop.
Yep.
TSA is adding 11 items to the list.
You had those items last hour.
Which include over-the-counter medications, ice packs, fresh eggs.
Finally.
Fresh eggs.
You know, the last time I flew, I went to DC Mardi Gras, Washington Mardi Gras, could not bring eggs with me.
Oh.
You know how mad I was that I couldn't bring fresh eggs with me?
That's what I'm saying.
You
must have been rolling first class with those eggs, huh?
No, I was not it was business class, baby.
Hey, they also live fish transported in water. How's that?
And carry on?
Yeah.
It's a must, man. Here's the thing. Okay, all joking aside, and we'll push all of the joking aside to open up new joking. What if it's your emotional support fish?
See, that's what I'm saying. So you bring aboard Nemo.
That's right.
You're just like, hey,
got his one bad fin over there.
That's it.
You know, if it's your emotional support fish, I think you've got an argument.
You know who would understand? Harvard. Harvard would understand that.
Let's give them $2 billion to research the effectiveness of an emotional support fish.
That's correct. Oh, man. Hey, speaking of Nemo, movies. Production of television shows, feature films, and commercials all declined in the Los Angeles area during the first 3 months of the year, according to a new report. Film LA is saying there are only 13 TV pilots shot in LA the last quarter. The lowest tally ever observed.
I mean, we talked about it last hour.
I wish I could have found the list.
There's no list of them?
I cannot find the list.
All right.
We'll
effort that over the break to be sure, because it's worth diving into, just to make fun of them, because pilots are often bad.
Right.
But the big picture item here is that LA is no longer the only hub for TV and movies. When you have states that have the foresight enough to have smart film tax credits so that you can build out studios like Celtic right here. You know what? I'm breaking on the one down. I was talking to Jason Wagons back last night. The one down in New Orleans. 50 Cent building up in Shreveport.
Yeah.
Like, these are jobs. It's cool to be in movies. These are jobs. This is your neighbor's mortgage. And when you do that right, your state can be making money off of it. And LA, with all of their restrictions and everything, is finally starting to feel the pinch. And I'm here for it. 713, Talk 107.3 FM. We've got a Dreams Come True Radiothon Power Hour going on right now. Talk 107.3 and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the 2025 Dreams Come True Radiothon. Now, Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. A number of local businesses have also pledged to match your donations throughout the month. Lewis Mechanical, Patient Plus, Action Industries, Subaru of Baton Rouge, Service Chevrolet, Luba, and Duplessis Pool Builders. Visit talk1073.com to help us reach our goals, and together we can help make dreams come true. And this hour, all this hour, since we are Talk 107.3, any donation that ends in 73 cents, you will be entered to win 2 tickets to go see Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider's coming to Baton Rouge May 16th on the, I'm going to try it. I'll try it for the first time since losing my voice. On the You Can Do It tour.
I like that.
I nailed it? I'm going to have no voice after the show.
That's it.
Leave it all on the field, Coach. Leave it all on the field. Any donation ending with the 0.73, $10.73, $20.73, $100.73, whatever you want to donate, as long as it ends in that 7-3, that's how we'll see it on the list of donations to put your name in the hat to win the 2 Rob Schneider tickets. Quick break. We got State Representative Michael Melerine next. How are you, sir? Doing all right. I apologize. I meant to let you know ahead of time the lobby doesn't open until 8. So you hit me right as we were coming back in from break. So
I thought about
Yeah. Good. Busy as hell. I was out at the LTA reception last night. Travel Association had the thing at the Longview House.
Yep.
Uh,
I didn't make that one. I had a dinner to go to. So
everything was going on last night.
that's the problem.
It was so, like,
They put everything on the first few days.
why?
Uh,
I feel like you lose people.
You do. I didn't make it to LTA. I didn't make it to one or two other ones.
District attorneys,
I went there for a minute and just said, hey, because I know some of
this is
them.
right across the street.
And I know some of them from back home.
Yeah.
So I went to go say, hey. But yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, kill the mics real quick. 718 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Time for us to dig in on the legislative session, and we're tackling insurance over our next two segments, actually. Next segment, we're going to have Renee Amar from Louisiana Motor Transport Association on with us. This segment, though, we've got State Representative Michael Melerine in with us. He's in from Shreveport. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me back.
No, glad to have you on. Actually, before we get into this session, you kind of share what we were talking about during the break?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about Los Angeles losing out on film business, TV business, because states around the country are saying, you know what, we want to put our foot in the water here and see what we can do. We are netting results seemingly daily in Louisiana from our film tax credit, and I referenced 50 Cent.
You did,
and you were telling me during the break he's about to do more.
Yeah. So look, he's a few weeks ago. There's a vacant studio just kind of sitting in downtown Shreveport. That's the second one that he's been able to lease. Right now, he is the largest or one of the largest landowners in downtown Shreveport. So we're excited about him coming. Excited to see him start ramping up everything. Like you said, for us, it's jobs.
I hate that the discussion always gets derailed.
Yeah.
The discussion always gets derailed with the air quote Hollywood. I don't care about that.
No, it's jobs. It's caterers, it's construction, it's staff, it's all these things. That
it's
you don't
tech.
Realize. Yeah, it's everything.
It's
you don't
graphic design. It's the special effects.
It's not just the actors and the producers.
Correct.
It's everything.
Yep. All right, on to business. We are about to get into day 3. You're heading over there. I'm sure shortly after this, unless you're swinging by the breakfast.
Going to the breakfast.
Okay. Yeah. So Crown Plaza, then the Capitol. Your impressions of the first 2 days are what?
I'm excited.
Okay.
Yesterday in civil law, we had our package of bills, or the first part of our package of bills, looking at dealing with the automobile insurance crisis. All of them got out of committee, and that's a good start, a good sign. And so, look, I'm optimistic.
How House Bill 450 is yours.
It is.
It said the abstract says eliminates the presumption of causation of injuries in certain circumstances. This is the Housley presumption.
Housley bill. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Different version of last year's bill.
So let's start with back at the beginning. What is the Housley presumption?
Yeah. So in the early 90s, I think it was early 90s. Supreme Court essentially said, if you are in good health before an accident, we're going to presume that the accident caused your injury. And so it's one of the few instances when the defense or when the plaintiff doesn't have to prove what they're alleging. And so they start off with it automatically being assumed that the accident caused in that situation.
Mhm.
And now it's the defense's job to come in and say, no, they've got to prove a negative, essentially. It's really hard to do that.
How does this run afoul? Does this run afoul of HIPAA?
No.
Okay. That was my only concern on this, was that somehow medically protected records would show, like, how do you walk that path?
So courts and law basically says once you make an allegation and you put your health in question, like, the other side gets to look into it.
Okay.
If you're making those allegations that this happened, then
then
you get
all right. Now I understand it. I
Yeah.
understand it. Okay, so nobody was asking about your medical records until you said there was something to look at in your medical records.
Exactly.
So
Essentially,
yeah. If you don't, to put it in other terms, if you don't start nothing, ain't gonna be nothing.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
all right. I don't think that's written in the bill, but that's not the way the draft was. That's not the way it was. The text was drafted. All right. Up until this bill, if I got into an accident in 2021 and claimed back problems, neck problems, and the like, I'd get paid based off of those back problems and neck problems. I get into an accident in 2022, I could feasibly claim the same thing because they wouldn't be allowed to go back and look.
No, you can. And so that's where, okay, so like the best example, and somebody, when I was doing an interview back home, they asked, think about it this way. You're at your house and you fall off a ladder and you're deciding that you're going to the hospital.
Right.
Because you're going to get checked out. You don't know what happened. But
Mhm.
you're like, I need to go get checked out. While you're driving to the hospital, you get into a car accident.
Okay.
And then after the car accident, you still go to the hospital, but you say, I broke my arm. Or that's what you find out.
Right.
But you don't have any medical treatment showing or any medical record showing you had a broken arm before the car accident.
Okay.
Right now, it would be presumed that the car accident caused your broken arm when we know you were on the way to the hospital because you had an accident at home, but you didn't have any medical treatment. So there's no way to prove it. It's an extreme example, probably not the best, but it does just highlight if you don't have a medical record showing or something.
Without your bill, though, can they even ask?
You can ask, but
Okay.
it's up to the defendant to prove that the fall would have caused it,
Okay.
instead of the plaintiff having to prove, no, it was the car accident.
Do we have numbers on how many, presumptive, how many cases this would affect?
We don't have numbers.
Okay.
And I'd be guessing if I told you, but I
Sure.
can tell you it runs the gamut. It's used in very small cases, something like in a parking lot. It can be used in really big ones.
Mhm.
It can sometimes be used, even if it's not affirmatively or like actively asserted. In negotiations, it's used as a tactic to say, hey, look, I'm going to get this presumption. So unless you can prove otherwise, which is often hard if you don't have to prove a negative.
Right.
It's often hard to do that. It can be used as a tactic in order to drive a settlement.
The example you gave was this is two things that happened in the same day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that way.
Like that.
There's a whole lot. I mean, if you fall off a ladder on Saturday and then like 3 weeks later you're in an accident, now you're not going to walk around with a broken arm for 3 weeks. But if you
if you had a
your spine, a herniated disc,
you have a herniated disc,
right.
and that's a lot of times where it comes. It's something like that, where a lot of times it's something that is degenerative, just age related, like, and you don't ever go to a doctor, and so you may not have an MRI that shows what you looked like. It's very rare that you've got an MRI that shows what your spine looked like before an accident. But if you look, take the three of us in this room.
Mhm.
We're all above 35 years old.
Yes.
And so if you go and have an MRI, you can have no pain, chances are you're going to see something that would be considered a positive finding. A disc bulge, a disc herniation. Like, you're going to have some of those conditions in your spine, just naturally related to age.
So, well, if you want to go to extreme here, summer after senior year playing Legion baseball, I slide into second base at Bogalusa High School, jammed up my knee pretty good. Now, not enough to require surgery unless I was going to continue playing baseball, which anybody who knows, was never going to do that. Not a college athlete here. But, so I never needed surgery on my knee. But if I were to get into an accident today, as the law stands right now, the Housley presumption would say, I just hurt my knee today.
It could, depending on a few things. But it could. It's just something like, all we're trying to do is say, if you're going to make the allegations that an accident caused your injury, you should have the burden of proving it, just like every other aspect of your claim.
The opposition to this is coming from where?
Yesterday in committee, the only opposition, and it wasn't really opposition, it was looking at trying to clarify some language, and make it clear. And I told Rep Brown, I said, look, I'm with you, I understand. I think we could probably tweak it a little bit to make it clear. Understood what he was saying. But other than that, there really was no opposition yesterday.
The state representative Michael Melerine is in with us. He's got House Bill 450 that is challenging or eliminating the Housley presumption. Exceptions to the rule would be what within this bill?
So once if the bill passes, all we do is it goes back and it says, look, if you're gonna make that allegation, prove it.
Right.
It doesn't preclude anybody from recovering anything. It doesn't do anything. It just removes the presumption. So, and that was one fear that I've heard from people, is you're going to prevent people from being able to recover. And it's not. If a doctor says it was more probably than not caused by this incident, you meet your burden.
Right.
And so the downside is it just removes a very unique situation where a plaintiff gets a benefit that they otherwise normally wouldn't.
But the burden of proof is on the defendant here.
And if Housley is used, yes, now it is, and it just switches it back to say plaintiff, burden of proof, like everything else in your case, is on you.
This was a big one. This is a big one that a lot of people have had their eyes on coming into the session.
Yeah, Rep Nelson, now Department of Revenue Secretary. When he was in the House, he had it passed. It was vetoed by former administration.
Yeah,
I had it last year, a different version of it. It died in the Senate last year, and now this is the third time.
We only got 2 minutes left. I kind of want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about what else you're working on right now, because process is so important here.
Yeah.
When you see a bill die 1 year and have it come back next year, that doesn't mean it was a bad idea last year. It just means you've been able to refine it.
Yeah, and look, if you look at last year's version to this year's version, it's different. Talking to some people, some of the concerns, we tried to get it in a position where everybody that had those concerns were addressed, by at the same time not watering it down, and so it was ineffective. Again, it's still going to continue to be looked at and see if we can make it as good as we can.
He is State Representative Michael Melerine. Okay, 90 seconds left. What else are you working on?
All right, so for me, I've got a bill for Secretary of State Nancy Landry. I also have a bill dealing with teachers and teachers unions that would allow teachers to opt out of being in a union. And so therefore, look, right now they don't really have an option. And so this would allow them, if they choose to opt out.
Okay.
The teacher would get more money. Their money, if they don't want to be in that union, wouldn't have to go to union dues. So
interesting. I didn't, so I know there's 2 unions and there's a third group that's out there.
It depends. It depends where you're at in the state. There's different things.
What are you working on for Nancy Landry?
A bill that basically says if Secretary of State or some other people enter into a consent decree, they have to get legislative approval in order. That way we're not tied.
Oh, I saw this one. Oh, we only got a minute left. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue.
No, essentially what it's saying is somebody that is, or an entity can't go rogue and can't start agreeing to things that are just outrageous, that are going to tie everybody's hands going forward. You have to get legislative approval in order to do it.
I love this. Okay, so we're going to have you back on to talk about this one. Because I mean, obviously insurance is front and center right now. Budget's got to be front and center because it's a fiscal session, but that's going to be a big one as well, because here in Baton Rouge, we've had to toy with this a little bit. Down in New Orleans, we've had to toy with it a lot. So, okay, this is a big one. Michael Melerine, about to make a return appearance very soon. I appreciate you stopping by this morning.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's 7:30. Here comes news, traffic, weather. We're talking with Renee Amar next. Yes. Oh, God. Dude, I'm so
No,
sorry.
come on.
I should have left more time on the back end for that.
No, I need to read up on it more too.
Okay.
Because it went through a few versions, and I need to make sure what I'm saying is who it applied to, because we were tweaking with who it applied to.
Yeah.
Because at first it was very broad, and we narrowed it a little bit. I'll come back.
Okay. Yeah, because this is one where anytime you fall under consent decree, taxpayers end up getting screwed.
Mhm. And it's just saying, look, and Nancy said, like, I'm obviously not going to go enter into something that's crazy, but like we need to make sure if I'm not here, that we don't have somebody go on the road and just agreeing to all this shit, and we're stuck.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right. I like that a lot.
let me know.
Will do. This one's gonna sail, isn't it?
I need to tweak some of it, and we were starting to tweak it before, but I didn't want to start. The governor put a card in support because I put some of his language that he wanted in there, and we need to work on it.
Okay. A chilly start to the morning, but will it have staying power? Here with your forecast, WBRZ meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan. I've got to hang out alive. .737 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're getting Renee Amar in exactly 60 seconds because I do need to ask you what you're doing for lunch today. Let's get P.F. Chang's in the mix here. Actually, you know what? We should have talked about this when Franz was in because Franz was telling me that he had ordered up some P.F. Chang's. He did it on either the Uber Eats or the DoorDash, one of those types of delivery apps. It's just as good when you deliver it. But he went with the firecracker shrimp yesterday. Per my recommendation, he was saying, thank you. I enjoyed that thoroughly. I'm glad you did. Next time, maybe go into P.F. Chang's and enjoy all the ambiance, enjoy the great service to go along with the fantastic firecracker shrimp. You get those glazed vegetables and peppers that go along with it. And it's just phenomenal Asian-inspired fare. It's phenomenal light Chinese food, right? It's not like that greasy, heavy, weighted down Chinese food. When you go into P.F. Chang's, your afternoon's not shot. Unless you want to belly at the bar for the rest of the afternoon where they'll have drink specials all day long. Either way, you're covered. Off Corporate Boulevard, in Town Center, look for the giant golden horse. It's P.F. Chang's. All right, diving right back into the legislative session, and we're going to talk a little bit about insurance bills. We're going to talk a little bit about legal reform as well. We got Renee Amar from the Louisiana Motor Transport Association with us on. Welcome back, Renee. How are you?
I'm pretty good, Brian. You sound so much better than you did last week. I thought you had a guest host on.
It's 1 week. Yeah, RFK Jr. was
correct.
It was a bad scene. It was a bad scene.
Yeah.
And you know what? And according to the housing presumption, I could have said it happened in an accident. So
you could have sued me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So what's on y'all's agenda for this legislative session? What are you eyeing up the most right about now?
So, partly what Representative Melerine talked about yesterday, these bills to what we consider rebalance the system in the state of Louisiana. We don't even need a balanced approach. We have so far to go because we've gotten so far off the mark from what the purpose of the justice system that, there were a slew of bills that got out of House Civil Law yesterday that start to focus in on doing some of those things. I know you've talked to Representative Emily Chenevert about her comparative fault, Representative Melerine. They had several of them also yesterday. Representative DeWitt has that no pay, no play provision. Probably wouldn't help us a ton, but anything that can start to cause some friction in the system is exactly what we need. And look, this argument has been framed as a fight between the trial attorneys and the insurance companies. And the public just needs to understand that all of us are squarely in the middle of that. We have no love for insurance companies. My members get very frustrated because they, write checks and settle. But there's some empathy in that system because we feel like the insurance companies and us, because of, the way a lot of our laws are written, we are walking into the courtroom with one hand tied behind our back and blindfolded. And so that is never a way you want to start a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So we are grateful for the work that was done yesterday. To have some bills up today in House Insurance, and one in particular that we have some concerns about, where they're trying to give the Commissioner of Insurance full authority to be able to essentially price fix insurance companies' prices.
Okay, the governor referenced this in his State of the State address on Monday. And this is he said a couple times, just look at Mississippi. Mississippi's doing it. Why can't we? Which I would say, okay, well, let's go a little further and do what Florida's doing instead of Mississippi. But that's neither here nor there. Do we know exactly what Mississippi is doing? And if so, is it as being described?
I am not exactly sure. I asked that question several times this week. I have not gotten an incredibly straight answer about exactly what Mississippi is doing. I think I'm going to reach out to my counterpart there to find out. I love part of what Mississippi does too. They have a cap on damages. Hopefully that'll be heard next week in civil law. Again, we'll have another hearing, but we can't continue to cherry pick individual laws. You know, we like this from Texas and that from Mississippi. Let's kind of mirror what Mississippi does, because I have members that have moved their operations to Mississippi, and they tell me that their insurance costs are half of what they're paying here. And so I want you to think about that with your car. And obviously, I've got a trucker over the last 10 years. When he started, his trucks cost him $6,000 a year to insure. They are $60,000 a piece now. So everything that they do, the shoes they pick up, the garbage they pick up, the water they deliver, all that is built into our price for the cost of goods that we purchase. That's how truckers impact us.
Think about that. Just repeat that if you would, please, because there's a lot of weight to that.
That everything that a trucker picks up, all of the goods that we use on a daily basis, just look around your house right now. A trucker has picked up. So the more that their prices escalate, the more that costs us, the consumers. They are nothing but the middleman.
That's right.
Part of the problem is that some of these guys are on the border with Mississippi, Arkansas, and Texas, and that is primarily who they are competing with. So the state of Louisiana is putting our own homegrown Louisiana businesses at a competitive disadvantage, because in Texas and Mississippi, their costs are lower. So they can bid these jobs cheaper. Not to mention the fact that my members are having to go spend time at the state capitol when they should really be back home running their businesses and getting more business.
Totally. 100%. We're talking with Renee Amar from the Louisiana Motor Transport Association. So, Renee, in asking about what Mississippi does with their insurance commissioner determining rates, I asked ChatGPT. I mean, that's where I went for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I did this
I
yesterday.
forget about our overlord. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So the answer is indirectly. The answer is the insurance commissioner in Mississippi. And I wanted to ask you, because you don't want to trust ChatGPT alone, right? But does not directly set insurance rates. Instead, insurance companies file rate changes with the insurance department, and the Mississippi Insurance Department's Property and Casualty Rating Division and Life and Health, blah, 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 blah. They review the filings to ensure compliance with state laws and fairness. I don't know if that's that much different than what we do already.
Literally, when you said that, just because I obviously spend a lot of time with a lot of these different people, but that is very similar to a lot of the authority that Commissioner Temple has now.
Right.
And look, I know that that's a great talking point to tell people, but I want our consumers to think about the fact that we're not always going to have a Commissioner Temple in this office. I understand we elect these people, but this is probably the biggest position in the state of Louisiana that has gotten in legal trouble in the past. Do we really want to give this one person this entire authority to be able to essentially price fix an entire industry? That scares me.
Jim Donnelly got reelected 3 times on the campaign slogan, "I'm not in jail." Like that's
Thank you.
so literally true. You're not even being funny. That's just on point.
Yeah. And it really just scares me that, I mean, from what I remember, we're in the United States of America, and I don't think we should ever rest that entire authority in one. I don't care who the human being is,
right?
In one human being to be able to determine, an industry's prices. They have actuaries, and these people are smarter than the smartest person that I've ever met in my life. That crunch all those numbers and determine the risk. And if I could just say one more thing, Brian, before I go, one of the things that it's hard for people to understand about how the justice system has shifted so much. My members routinely tell me that they are writing checks for incidents where they have been rear-ended. they've dinged a mirror in a parking lot, and that person later is getting spinal fusion. Like, I just need people to know the seriousness of this situation. We are so out of whack. It's going to take us a long time to get the system back to the middle.
Spinal fusion after having your mirror dinged. Okay, that kind of walks us up to the jackpot justice into this discussion.
Yep.
Before we do, though, just one more on the insurance commissioner determining prices.
Yeah.
The insurance commissioner shouldn't determine prices any more than the ag commissioner should determine the price of eggs. When you make that comparison, it looks really ridiculous, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Or the shoes you wear. I mean, the pillows on my couch.
Right.
Just, name anything and everything. Yeah, I understand that there are times, especially when we have, mandates for certain products, that you might want to put certain types of guardrails, but it should never come to pricing. My concern, because my members typically only have 2 or 3 insurance companies that will write them, and one is usually so astronomical they don't even look at it, is that the chilling effect this is going to send to insurance companies. These CEOs, not just here, but across the world, listen to everything our people in leadership say.
Right.
And so when there is harmful rhetoric against a particular industry, they hear that. But also, do you want to be an industry that gets set up in a state where one person can determine what your prices are?
No, not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're at their whims or whimsy. So absolutely not. All right,
Yeah,
jackpot justice. By the way, we're talking with Renee Amar from the Louisiana Motor Transport Association about a few of the items in this legislative session that she's keeping her eye on. When it comes to jackpot justice, we've seen Kim Carver's bill already wanting to enhance how advertising will come down from trial attorneys. Your takeaway on Kim Carver's bill is what?
Look, we know that there have been many issues in the past when it has come to attorney advertising. The Supreme Court has considered it a First Amendment right, which always kind of oddly boggles my mind because I don't think cigarettes can advertise anymore. I think there's restrictions on beers, and so beers. Listen to me, beers. The alcohol industry, but obviously we are the people when we drive down the road, and I want people to think about if you were a truck driver, you're just trying to earn an honest living every day.
Right. You
want to get home safely, just like everybody else on the road does. But every half mile, especially in the state of Louisiana, that you drive, somebody is standing on top of a truck saying you're a bad person, you've done things wrong. The amount of commercials that people send me that the trial bar has put out that says specifically, truckers are trying to hurt you and your family. They call us out. I would consider some of those things unfair. And so I think Representative Carver's bill is, again, just seeking to, inject a little bit of common sense in some of the things that are going on currently in our system.
I'm glad you opened up that part of the discussion because it needs to be a part of the discussion moving forward. If we want to draw battle lines between trial lawyers and insurance companies, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. But when it comes to how many truckers, independent truckers, are just small business owners among themselves, how many of them live paycheck to paycheck, and how many of them, if their insurance were to double or triple, would be out of work completely? They would just be completely out of business and lose everything they've built just off of one fender bender.
Brian, can I just share one small story with you before I go? But I had a member testify yesterday in committee, and this is a 60-year-old man that's been running his business for decades, but the insurance issue has gotten so tenuous with him that he has had to cut employee pay and benefits. And when he was talking about that in committee yesterday, his voice shook.
Yeah.
This is such an emotional issue for these people. They don't have 8,000 trucks. This man has 8 trucks, and he's just trying to earn an honest living, and we are being targeted. And that is exactly what they feel like.
All right, we don't have time right now, but next time I see you out, you got to remind me to tell you about my 18-wheeler story. You're going to absolutely love it. And I've told it on the air a million times already, so I'm not going to bore the audience with it again. In the meanwhile, she's Renee Amar. Another busy day coming up at the Capitol today. Thank you so much for carving out a couple minutes for us this morning.
Thanks, Brian.
Always. We're We're going to get you to break in just a minute here. Got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. Hey, Kenilworth. Mathern's is back. Remember old Kenilworth supermarket that became Robert's? Well, now it's Mathern's Market at Kenilworth. It's back. The family you love, the prices you missed are coming back home, or are back home, not coming back home, on Highland Road, just west of Kenilworth Park. Is it Parkway or Boulevard? Parkway, I believe. Highland Road, just west of Kenilworth, is where you're going to find them. So if you live in that area, if you attend St. Jude, if you're out that way on Highland, Kenilworth is back home again. Now that you know that, we want you to take advantage of the deals that they have to offer. Download the Mathern's Rewards app. Every week, you're going to get emailed the coupons of the week. You're going to get emailed the insert for the newspaper so you know where all the deals are. And every time you shop, you're earning cash towards more groceries. Just let them scan your little barcode when you're in there, and you'll be earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop. Still good at the Nicholson location on campus across the street from Tiger Stadium. Still good downtown. But Kenilworth has come home. Mathern's has come home to Kenilworth. Quick break. We'll be back next. When to call what?
That was LT Dupree.
Okay.
As you may know him. Oh, I don't know.
LT Dupree?
Yeah. LT Dupree. He was wanting to see if we can maybe get anyone from the Louisiana Association of Justice on, like Digger Earls or Connie Curry.
Let me see about that.
Just to kind of get it from another perspective, yeah. So. Yeah, that was his.
Did he leave his number?
Hmm?
Did he leave his number?
He did.
What? Oh my God! I'm so proud.
What did I miss?
My daughter's got to leave for school a month early. She just got a jump scholarship.
Wow. Wow, man. Wow. Proud dad moment, huh? About to text you something I found funny.
Okay. That is so effing perfect.
I almost posted it to the page. Almost posted it.
Please don't. Don't bump the table.
Love the CD skip.
I could let Peter Piper play all day, man. In the
Yeah.
annals of hip hop history, no better beat. No better. Like, Have you heard DJ Jazzy Jeff's Peter Piper mix?
Nope.
So he's got it on
But I
both
will
tables.
today.
And yeah, it's a show.
Oh,
It's a little 4-minute show. It's awesome. 756 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We're going to get into the Senate race in just a minute. Got to tell you about the folks at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. You already know. If you listen to the show, you know. In the 7 o'clock hour every day, there's a flight that leaves from BTR and lands at Reagan National. And every evening, that flight comes back directly to Baton Rouge, a direct flight to our nation's capital, right into the belly of the beast. FlyBTR.com is the website. If you've got business in D.C., they've got you covered. It's a daily flight, and you don't even have to book a hotel room. You want to talk about savings? You don't even have to book a hotel room. You're coming back the same day, same evening. FlyBTR.com. I know right now a lot of folks are planning out their summer vacations. Maybe you don't want to put the kids in the old family truckster and go cross country to see Wally World. Maybe. Think about that. There would never have been a National Lampoon's Vacation if they'd just gone to flybtr.com. Well, they'd have been at O'Hare, but still, you get my point. You don't need all the mishaps on the road. You don't need the kids in your ear. You don't need, he's touching me. You don't need that. You don't need gas station sandwiches. Where am I going with this? FlyBTR.com. That's where. You heard the story from Louisiana Radio Network. While one poll shows State Treasurer John Fleming beating Senator Bill Cassidy in next year's Republican primary, the latest campaign finance report numbers tell a completely different story. According to the official numbers released by the campaigns, Cassidy raised $1.36 million in the first quarter of 2025, compared to just over $263,000 for Fleming. ULM political science professor Pearson Cross says that's not a good sign for the state treasurer.
Donations are also a measure of support, and right now it doesn't look like Fleming has the kind of support overall that would indicate that he has a great chance in this race.
Not to quote Godfather 3, but to quote Godfather 3, you know Senator Cassidy right now is saying, our true enemy has yet to reveal himself. Fleming's reporting a war chest of $2.2 million, much of which he loaned to himself. Cassidy is reporting a war chest of $7.5 million. Cross says in terms of fundraising, Fleming has his work cut out for him.
It appears that Fleming's going to have some money to be in the race and may be competitive to some extent, but unless his support broadens a bit, he's going to have trouble matching Cassidy.
Now, if you're saying money does not equate to votes, that's true to an extent. Exposure does. And it's important to remember that when we get into our little political silos, we forget about the overall populace out there that doesn't dial in on politics on a day-to-day basis. That exposure, that money, gets you exposure to them. I don't think Fleming's real battle is going to be on a money front. It's going to be on a who is he? And not on a who is he as in they don't know his name, but what does he stand for front? Fleming is hoping to capitalize on Cassidy's vote in 2021 to convict then former President Trump in his second impeachment trial. Cassidy is hoping that, like Trump and Cassidy together, Cassidy's hoping the populace has moved on too.
The Republican State Party had a unanimous vote of censure against Senator Cassidy. But while I'd say those sins are not necessarily forgiven, they're certainly farther away than they were in terms of people's minds.
Hour 3 is next. Did you see my email about correcting the Mary Bird Perkins interview from yesterday? I forwarded you an email from their top motherfucker who is pissed. You got it with the picture and everything? Yeah. How's it going? Tony Tanner. Yeah, hey, you're awesome. You got one more segment before yours, but yeah, we'll be ready to roll. Man, I pissed people off this morning, dude. All right, yeah, if you would please just correct everything he said to correct. They're not a sponsor. In fact, Our Lady of the Lake is a sponsor, and they do their own cancer stuff. But Mary Bird Perkins is like buku dollars overall, and I want to make sure they are happy. Okay. Got a text from a buddy I haven't heard from in years. And he said, "You're still doing Sopranos bits?" Yes. Yes, I am. Well, I know it's Godfather 3, but that's Silvio does the Godfather impression. And he only quotes Godfather 3, and I don't know why. But of all the Godfather quotes that are out there, but yeah, it's between every time I thought I was out, they pull me back in. That's Godfather 3. And then our true enemy has yet to reveal himself. 806 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Man, been looking forward to this for some time. Coming up, well, I say for some time. All right, let me be perfectly clear. I learned about a new group on Monday, and the moment I learned about the group, I was intrigued and wanted to talk to them. They're called the Maha Moms, Make America Healthy Again. And Laura Rodrigue is with them. She's going to join us at 8:35 to talk about what it is they're actually doing. Now, this isn't like, this isn't the mom who gets angry if you bring, bags of potato chips for after the soccer game. We're talking about overall health and nutrition for our kids. Looking forward to that conversation. Also looking forward to our next conversation. We got the folks from Nexus, Louisiana, in with us. They're going to be in next segment right here. Their new CEO, Tony Zanders, is going to be with us to talk about some projects, some things that are going to be changing over at Nexus, and a little bit that they've got going on in the upcoming months. Right now, though, we roll back the clock. Right now, it's time for This Day in History. All right, John.
All right.
What happened?
Taking it back to 1789, where George Washington heads out to his first presidential inauguration.
Really?
That happened today. Speaking of presidents here, 1861.
Well, you don't blow past that.
What?
George Washington goes to his first inauguration.
Right. It's a big deal, right?
It is a big deal.
Heck yeah, it is.
It's because it's the first one.
Right.
Like Donald Trump is number 47. They know
Yes.
what they're doing by now.
Yeah,
You
right.
got to think some things went a little sideways that first time out.
Oh, best believe it.
I
sure.
wanna know-
It's got to be.
I want to know which of our founding fathers was in charge of chairs.
Is that okay?
Look, seriously,
You know what? Yeah, someone was, right?
you know?
Hey.
I mean, it's not like you're just calling a party rental store. It's the 1700s. Yeah, we're going to need a whole buttload of chairs.
That was my
And a
next
bounce
day, Andy.
house.
That's what it is. So 1861. Look at that. Party Universe.
Stop.
Party Universe is founded.
Oh, in the middle of Civil War? I don't think so.
You know what we need, guys? Some inflatables.
We do.
We need some bounce houses.
It's
We blow up balloons as well. We got helium here. 1861, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln outlaws business with Confederate states. Speaking of the Civil War.
that's what I was saying.
Yep.
He did what to the Confederate States?
He outlaws business with Confederate states.
Okay.
So,
party rental stores went out of
That's
business.
oh man, 1993. Big jump
I
here.
declare.
I declare.
That Abraham
business.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a bounce. He looks like a dragon.
Think about
Did you
the
call them
kids.
bounce houses when you were growing up? We called them a moonwalk.
Moonwalk?
Moonwalk.
Just a bounce house. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You had like,
Yeah. No, I get it.
yeah, moonwalk. We called them.
Well, we didn't really have those. We blew up air mattresses outside. And we just
Down the
jumped on
bayou,
air
yeah.
mattresses. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have a slip and slide. You had a tarpon hose.
We did. Yes, with some Dawn soap, man. Wow. Good times.
Yep.
Big jump here. 93, jury reaches guilty verdict in federal case against police officers, 2 convicted, 2 acquitted, who beat Rodney King, but the verdict
Yep.
is not read until April 17th.
Yep.
Wow, man.
Remember that vividly.
Oof. 2007 here, Virginia Tech massacre, the deadliest mass shooting in modern American history.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. It takes a turn, right?
Yeah.
History is so just, you never know where you're going to end. You know, we joke about bounce houses and then it gets really serious really quick. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Virginia Tech massacre today. More lighthearted news here. 2018, Kendrick Lamar is the first rapper and non-classical or jazz musician to win the Pulitzer Prize.
Kendrick Lamar won a Pulitzer Prize.
He did in 2018. He did. Yep.
That changes everything for me.
Yeah.
I could see, it makes sense. I could see it. I could see it for sure.
Yeah. It's in his DNA.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
Get it?
I got it. I got it. Because when he says bat, bat, bit, bat, bit, boom, bam, that's prize winning.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Sit down. Be humble.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What else?
Man, look at this. Gary Sinise. Look at this guy. 2021 hosts the inauguration ceremony of the World War I Memorial in Washington, D.C.
Awesome.
Talking about inaugurations.
Yep.
There we go. Anything else fascinating on this day?
Yes. Michael Jordan retired.
Oh, yeah?
On this day in 2003, at age 40, Michael Jordan, the GOAT, played his last game in the National Basketball Association today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a 3-minute standing ovation here.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Should have been longer.
Yep.
If we'd known that LeBron was still to come, it would have been longer.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, everything else is birthdays and deaths.
Yeah. Celebrity birthdays. Got a ton of them today. Starting off with Martin Lawrence here.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Charlie
wow.
Chaplin. Selena today.
Okay.
Let's see. Chance the Rapper as well. Akon, keeping it music related. Let's see. No, so I know I had one more. I know you got some in the sports world, right?
Oh, yeah. I got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, born on this day in 1947. Bill
Yeah.
Belichick, born on this day in 1952. Bill Belichick's hoodie, born on this day in 1953. Pope
right.
Benedict was born on this day in 1927. I had more. Oh, Dusty Springfield.
Okay,
How
yeah.
about Dusty Springfield in 1939? And I had one more on the sports front. Did you have any other ones?
Besides comedian Tom Segura.
Oh, love him.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Louisiana. Actually, he loves Louisiana because he makes fun of us so much, and we're cool with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we'll
He says instead of having a wall between U.S. and Mexico, there should just be a wall around the state. So he's awesome. Jonathan Vilma, former New Orleans Saints linebacker,
right.
born on this day in 1982.
As far as deaths go, I got one here. Pat Summerall today.
Okay. Wow. What year was that?
2013.
Okay.
Pretty much the biggest one I had.
Going for a deep pull on this one.
Okay.
French historian and political writer Alexis de Tocqueville died on this day in 1859. Yeah, I let my nerd out every once in a while.
Yeah. I like
And we also had, that was it. That was the only one I had. Late day for that.
All right. Yeah. As far as national days go, National Librarian Day.
Hey, you know what? Yes, let's celebrate the librarian.
Indeed.
And in order to celebrate the librarian, let's do it loudly.
Yes.
Shh.
Happy National Librarian Day.
814 Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break. We'll come back. Talk with Nexus Louisiana next. I was going to make a Dewey Decimal joke and just didn't have it. Just couldn't get the bat off my shoulder.
Hey, Shorty.
Come on in, man. All right.
How you doing, sir? Good to meet you. Good to meet you. John.
Glad to have you on here. We do right here. Yeah, we try to do as much with Nexus as possible. Awesome. Love what y'all do over there. Was really hella bummed to hear Brew going away, and then got back on board as soon as I heard the why. And yes.
Yep, happy to get into it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the Technology Cup is our new debut, and that's coming up in June. So
Yeah, that's what Natasha asked to talk about. Which she's awesome, by the way. Love working with her.
Yeah, she is. Makes my job easy, and I don't have to worry about a lot of things when she's involved.
So yeah, it's I forget who was telling me about it, but they're like, I was like, are we just quitting? We're giving up now? And it's like, no, when you look at what's down the road, it's right down the road in New Orleans, they blow it out. And why not celebrate? It's not about downplaying us, it's about celebrating them from Brew and then finding our niche.
Bingo. We're different. I'm a native New Orleanian. I don't really
What part?
compare uptown.
Okay.
Like Napoleon Ferret. Does that
Yep.
mean anything? Okay.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, I went to De La Salle.
Okay.
Yep. Played basketball.
How long ago?
Finished in 2003.
Okay.
So pre-Katrina.
Yep.
Different place now, but
Where did my cousin? I'm the only one in my family that didn't go to Rummel.
okay.
'Cause I grew up on the North Shore.
Yep. No, we played Rummel too much.
No, I went to St. Paul's.
Yep, I know St. Paul's. Mm-hmm. Blue and yellow, huh?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And my wife's an Ursuline grad. So
Yep. Ursuline. That's. I met my wife at McMain, right across the street from Ursuline.
oh, nice.
And so, know Ursuline well. Walk past it every day. Mm-hmm. And then my brother went to Tulane, so was in that.
That's your bubble.
Yeah,
That's your
didn't really
bubble right
leave
there.
it much at all until college. No reason to.
Where'd you go to college?
I got a basketball ride in Pennsylvania. It's called Washington and Jefferson College.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
small school.
Yeah.
but played point guard there.
Cool.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kids?
3,
How old?
14, 11, 8. They're at Baton Rouge High and U High.
No kidding. All
Yeah,
right.
I got a freshman there.
Very cool.
She's actually an inspiration for the Tech Cup.
That's okay. We're on now, so we're gonna go dial in.
Do I have one or no?
You don't need it.
Cool.
I got to know what's happening over there too.
Sweet.
So.
All right.
817 Talk 173 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, pivoting to talk tech at this point. And I've been looking forward to this conversation for some time because we have yet to have the new head of Nexus Louisiana in with us, and he's here now. Tony Sanders, welcome aboard. How are you?
Good morning. Great to be here.
Glad to have you in. Glad to be having the conversation we're having because, before we have the good conversation, let's have the other conversation. Brew's going away.
Brew is going away.
I'm bummed. I love Brew.
You're not alone.
Okay. Now, that's the hard part. Let's get into why. Why is Brew going away?
You won't find a 70-mile radius anywhere in the country where you have multiple entrepreneurship weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You got New Orleans Entrepreneurship Week, which is continuing year over year to grow, to serve all things sort of entrepreneurship.
Yep.
As a native New Orleanian, I'm proud of that. I think that it sort of is a highlight for not just New Orleans, but for our entire state. I've been living in Baton Rouge for 11 years now, pretty active in the NOE community, as it's called, NOE.
Mm-hmm.
There's a strong Baton Rouge contingent there as well.
Yeah.
I think that there's an opportunity for Baton Rouge to find her own identity when it comes to entrepreneurship and tech. And we can do some things that New Orleans can't do. And so 6 weeks into the job at Nexus and saw an opportunity to try something new. That's sort of the context.
So I like the back end of this and I like where it's going. But this is, Baton Rouge doesn't often like to say, well, we're going to take a back seat to New Orleans. This isn't that. This is creating an entire new lane. So talk to me about what's coming in June.
100%. So June 17th through 19th is Louisiana's first statewide technology competition, hosted by Nexus. It's an inaugural event called the Nexus Technology Cup. We've never really gathered all of the people building cool technology in one place, celebrated them, offered them cash prizes, but have a true competition because, we love to compete. We do it all the time with sports. The thing is, we have people in engineering and technology and science who are just as competitive. They may not have an athletic bone in their body, but they will celebrate beating you and winning just like any other. And so I think it's exciting to do that for the first time.
All right, what goes into it? How does it? Because with Brew, it was kind of all over the map. And as much as I love Brew, and I've emceed it a number of times, as much as I love it, you'd have like Falaya doing its thing in real estate online.
Yep. Shout out to Barrett.
Barrett's awesome. And then you had last year Leroy's Lip Smack and Lemonade, like a literal lemonade stand.
Absolutely.
And both are equally awesome, but they're so
Different.
opposite ends of the spectrum of what business is. So when you talk about entrepreneurship, it gets hard to judge something like that because what are my pluses and minuses here? They're completely different. That's not, not the same ballpark, not the same league, not the same sport.
Absolutely. And, I think it helps for us because we're the state's only statutory organization focused on technology incubation or incubating new technologies. So when you look at our statute, it actually lays it out fairly plain that our focus at Nexus has to be on producing new technologies. Leroy's Lip Smackin' Lemonade, beloved brand, great lemonade, not technology, right?
Right.
They will be successful, and there's organizations that are focused on helping them succeed. But our mandate's a lot different. And so really this is an attempt to get back to the statute, interpret it sort of in more of a purist way to say, how can we help people with an idea for a new software product or a hardware product, bring that to life? And how can we deploy our resources towards that? So to your point, the analogy I like to use is it's great if someone wants to start a new landscaping company, right? And the SBA or SBDC can help you get your first loan and start up the LLC and follow the paperwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not our focus at Nexus. Our focus is for people who want to reinvent the lawnmower. So if you want to create a new lawnmower that's solar powered,
okay,
that saves 50% of the energy, right?
Yep.
It's our job to give you the space to tinker and do the soldering and the hardware and try to build that new technology and then help you to commercialize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing if you want to open up a new laundromat. We need more laundromats for certain neighborhoods and communities,
right?
But that's not our remit. But if you want to create a new laundry machine,
right,
that's more energy efficient, that's where Nexus can come in.
So let's walk up to the Tech Cup competition here. Is this going to be broken down like software versus hardware? Is it all encompassing? Are we siloing folks? What are we doing?
The 3-day event starts off with a party, and it'll be at the estuary at the water campus, right on the river.
Yeah.
Really highlighting one of Baton Rouge's most gorgeous buildings.
Yes.
Day one, that next day, is the hardware day. And that's where we're having 3 tiers or 3 tracks. We'll have the high school track because you have high school teams, whether it's a robotics team or a computer science department or engineering group. And so they're going to compete. We'll have the top 5 high school hardware projects compete in front of a panel of judges. After that, we'll have a college track. So we want to see Tulane versus LSU versus McNeese State versus Louisiana Tech hardware. And then finally, we'll have an open track for anyone that is an entrepreneur building technology. You could be funded. We're not really focusing on the business aspects. We're really focusing on the product you're creating. And we have that same model on the final day for software. So we are partitioning hardware for one day and then software for the next day, broken down into those 3 separate tracks to make it fair.
Okay, so software is going to have the same 3 tracks. Software will have the same 3 tracks, divisions, however you want to break it down, as hardware does. But software is not competing against hardware. Love that.
Yep, because they're different. And hardware is harder to build. And they're just different, right? Now, all 6 of those tracks are competing for one most innovative award. Mm-hmm. And that award will be a single award across sort of all of those tracks. And the judges, along with the audience, will help determine that prize at the end of the Tech Cup.
Now, when you talk about determining the prize in the Tech Cup, let's talk numbers here because you got a big number going on along with this.
Absolutely. So Nexus is putting forth $100,000 in cash prizes split across those winners. We're actually trying to increase that amount through sponsorship. And so part of my job in the coming weeks is to potentially double or triple that. No news just yet, but that is our goal. But at a minimum, we're spreading $100K in non-dilutive prizes. We're not taking a stake in a company or taking ownership or anything. If you built this, you're personally walking away with the cash, not your school, not your, university, the people who actually worked on that technology.
When you said a stake in the company, it reminded me that Brew was culminated with the whole Shark Week type or Shark Tank type Shark Week. Shark Tank.
Shark Week is the thing, though.
No, it's one of my favorite things.
It's one of my favorite
Shark Tank style competition. When you
Yeah.
mentioned having a stake in that, the competition is it going to be set up similarly?
No, so those pitch competitions have a place in sort of the entrepreneurship community, but I wanted to try something different because entrepreneurs and people building technology, they need support. They need financial support. They don't necessarily always need you to own a part of what they're doing.
Right.
And as a nonprofit public agency at Nexus, I think that's a role we can play. We're not an investor. And so we don't take ownership in the companies we help.
At the same time, though, when you get into a Shark Tank style pitch competition, salesmanship tends to trump innovation or salesmanship. You could be a better salesman than the product that you have. What y'all are doing here focuses on the hardware and software a lot more than whether or not you've got a great pitch.
This is exactly right. This isn't a pitch in the sense that you have to show what you've built.
Right.
This is a demonstration.
Yeah.
And so you're stopped at the application if you can't upload a video demonstration of the technology.
Okay.
So there's no PowerPoints. We're not looking for, someone to come and talk about an idea.
Right.
We're celebrating the folks who have done the hard work to take that idea they originally had, but turn it into something real. And so this is a demonstration. And again, I think folks will appreciate the reference. The pitch competitions are really like a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire vibe.
Yes.
We're going more for a Revenge of the Nerds vibe. And I think
I could roll with that.
And I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I tend to agree. It's like I said, when I first heard about Brew, I was a little bit bummed. And then when I heard the why and the what's next, I completely turned around on this. So if there's folks out there that want to help on the sponsorship end, where do they need to go?
They can visit our website, nexusla.org/technologycup. They can also email us, hello@nexusla.org. We're actively pursuing anyone who wants to celebrate technology being built. The whole community needs our support because Louisiana has an opportunity to create new industries. This is an exciting time to be in tech, and it'll take a village to make it happen.
For those that want to participate, where do they need to go?
Same website. It's
Okay.
a 5-minute application. All you have to do is fill out the form and upload a video demonstration. The product you're working on doesn't even have to be complete by April 30th. You got another 6 weeks if you're chosen as a finalist to continue working on it.
Okay.
You'll also be assigned a coach to help you prepare for that demonstration. Live on June 17th through 19th, it's just a 5-minute demo in front of the judges.
Right.
So nothing too intense.
Okay. All right. Well, we're not done here, but we're done with the segment, but we're going to have you back on as we get closer to it to start, talking about a few more of the intricacies, with the judges, who the judges are, what they're looking for. And we'll get to know a few of the participants as well as we get closer to the Technology Cup. In the meanwhile, I can't thank you enough for stopping by. He's Tony Zanders, the new head of Nexus Louisiana. Looking for great things, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, I've been told that the Power Hour actually rolls over into this hour. I got a message during the last break saying that I wanted to participate in the Power Hour, but I was still driving. Can you still take my donation? Absolutely. So here's what we got going on right now. Dreams Come True Radiothon runs all April. Right now, started at 7 o'clock, but continuing through the 8 o'clock hour, the Power Hour continues. What's the Power Hour? If you make a donation that ends in 73 cents, like 107.3, but if you make a donation of $10.73 or any increment ending in 73, you are automatically entered to win 2 tickets to go see Rob Schneider in Baton Rouge on May 16th. I'm going to have to do that again on the way back in. So, good stuff. Awesome. Very, very good.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise. We're going to have some fun.
Oh, no, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's like, and I'll get with Natisha about, like, can we explore different ways to promote content through Talk 107.3 to like put your nerds out there?
So
Like if
I
there's
have
rockets that launch or microwaves that explode or whatever. Like,
the answer is yes.
Okay.
We'll have it's an invite only event.
yeah.
We want you media to be there because
Yeah.
the storytelling is going to be awesome. Since it's invite only, we're also looking for someone to like live comment on these presentations.
Does layperson or do you need somebody smart or do you need somebody fun?
Fun.
That's me.
Let's
want
go.
that. Yeah.
Like that will be, and we would promote 107.3 as like the place to listen because you can't. The only people invited are like people, investors, technology folks, the high school computer science teacher. It's like a,
Right.
but we want to showcase it to everyone who wants to tune in.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we could talk about how to set it up where you can be here, we can stream it to you, and you can comment on it live, or you can be there. We can talk logistics, but we want
I could be there and run play by play.
play by. This is what we want. We want to treat it like it's a sport.
Yes, absolutely. And look, and I can be totally brutal or we'll have a good time with it.
You'll have a good time because you'll have high school students,
Yes.
and then you can ramp it up. Everyone's gonna have a walkout song.
Okay.
It's gonna be fun.
Okay. On the high school track.
Yeah.
Do you know Eric Lewis?
No, not yet.
Okay. He's doing great. I think once he's up at Zachary.
Okay.
But great things with robotics with kids, high school kids.
I need to meet him. He needs
Okay.
to know. Yeah.
Let me connect you two.
Awesome.
So
no, we want the best and brightest. Yes, it's gonna be fun. Cool. All right, we'll be in touch. Yep.
Good deal. Thank you.
Take care.
See, and the thing is, like, both my daughters are athletes and my son is a total nerd. Like, I'm working so hard to get him good at basketball, but like, I could tell where he's already built the Notre Dame Cathedral out of Legos. He built the White House out of Legos.
Then he's good, man.
Like, he's 8 years old. He's building the White House.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's awesome.
And I'm over here like, go outside, nerd. So I'm talking about my son.
Where can we get this segment? Like,
It'll be posted on Talk 173's website. The audio will. The video's just in the Facebook feed. If you want, or YouTube, if you want to pull it from there, you can.
Okay.
It's your own. Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. All right.
Yep.
See y'all.
All right.
Later.
Yeah, it's kind of that.
Yeah, with James, it's just because he's so the opposite of me.
Yeah.
He's so smart.
Yeah. Man.
The Maha Moms
Yeah.
coming up.
Nice.
Laura Rodrigue. Oh shit, you got to call her.
Oh.
God, I love the start to this morning, right? Is it going to stick around? No, not really. Your high today is getting up to 82. That's not too bad. Overnight low gets back down to 57 tonight. Tomorrow will be up to 86 with an overnight low of 67. Friday, yuck, high of 90, low of 70 degrees. Now, Saturday, at this time yesterday, we were looking at a 40% chance of rain on Saturday. Then looks like that is pushed back now. Saturday, your high is 87. Sunday's when the chance of rain rolls in. Yes, Easter Sunday, we're looking at a 50-50 shot at rain with a high of 87 right now. Once that rain gets here, we're looking at a 50-50 shot at rain all through next week. It's just a matter of when is it going to roll in. So as to whether or not, whether you're firing up the crawfish boil or firing up the grill or just trying to make your way across the church parking lot, we might be dodging some raindrops on Easter Sunday. Right now, we are stuck. There we go. We're sunny and 62 in downtown Baton Rouge. Do you have that Landry cut that I sent you? I wish you'd play the first half of it right here. 837 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Let's take you back to Monday. Governor Jeff Landry by the way, Dreams Come True Radiothon, the power hour is continuing through this hour. Any donation that ends in 73, like if you want to just donate $73, you're good there. But say $10.73. Any donation at talk1073.com to Dreams Come True that ends in a 73, you are entered to win 2 tickets to see Rob Schneider right here in Baton Rouge. All right, now let's take you back to Monday. Governor Jeff Landry giving his State of the State address, and my ears perked up when I heard this.
These women challenge us to improve family health by supporting local farmers, reducing toxins, and promoting physical activity. They are calling on leaders, industries, and individuals to demonstrate accountability. And I am proud to support Senator McMath as he leads this challenge. His legislation calls for us to curb ultra-processed food that is fueling chronic disease, incentivize better food choices, encourage active lifestyles, eliminate toxins from school lunches, and train physicians in nutrition-based treatments.
He's talking, of course, about the Maha Moms, and joining us now is Laura Rodrigue, one of the Maha Moms. Laura, good morning. Welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
No, glad to have you on here. Glad to be having this discussion. I love that this is getting as much attention as it is. So let's start with the beginning here. What created the Maha Moms?
Well, I can tell you that this is a group of women who have been together and been working together on various issues in Louisiana for a few years now. Actually, it's sort of the initial group we called the Mama Bears, and we started in New Orleans, and it was during the time of COVID, and just addressed some of the health issues then. And we then went on to address some of the issues in Louisiana involving crime at that time, which were affecting our families. And many of these women were so excited to see the Maha movement gain traction that we really sort of went full dive in on this issue and have been so excited to see our legislators and the governor really get behind these initiatives and support them. And so it's a group of women that's been together for quite a while. They're a strong group. They're from totally different backgrounds. We have a lot of physicians. We have some people who are in the fitness industry. We have people who are business owners who focus on health and nutrition. And we have people who own local farms all throughout Louisiana who are promoting some of these health issues. So it's a great group of women. They're strong, they're determined, and they're very excited to be a part of this movement.
We're talking with Laura Rodrigue from the Maha Moms about where their movement is headed. So you get the name drop in the governor's State of the State address. We've already had Senator McMath on to talk about one of his bills. Let's start with that from y'all's perspective. Moving from a movement to legislation, how did y'all contact Senator McMath? Did he reach out to y'all? How did this process get started?
Well, I can say that we have actually been very happy to have the support of Governor Landry since he was the Attorney General. He was really one of our closest allies from the very beginning of the formation of the group. He has really stood with this group of women for a long time now. So it was no surprise to him when we reached out and said, look, it's time to really get the legislature fired up about MAHA stuff. And we were not surprised to find that he was fully supportive of it. So we did not doubt that he would come and stand up for us again, like he has for the last few years. So that was no surprise. It was getting the legislature to rally behind some legislation that we didn't know how it would play out. And so we reached out to several legislators and said, look, we want the focus to be on nutrition for the kids. That was a big deal. And McMath responded and he said, I'm on it. You know, his wife is very active in this arena. Her friends are also been pushing him. And so I always say, you know, just get a strong wife behind any of these legislators. If it's not the females leading the bunch in the legislature, then we can get some of the women to push some of the men. And McMath jumped on board very quickly. And we love his legislation. You know, it seems to really encompass a lot of the issues that we're facing. And, you know, Louisiana typically comes behind the rest of the country on some of these issues. This is no exception to that. There's 30 other states who have already started passing this legislation. It's bipartisan. I think it's 17 Democrat states. The rest are Republican. So it's a bipartisan movement here. And it seems to be sort of unstoppable. And so it's about time is kind of what the women are thinking. And the big issue for us, one of the biggest parts of this bill was school lunches. And that has become so important. The women are at the forefront of this issue because we have been facing it at home with our kids. So we see the issues that parents are facing and a lot of the women are facing behind closed doors, where you go to see your pediatrician and they start to talk to you about whether your kid has ADHD or autism or all of these things that are now so prevalent as we're raising kids, and the discussion of medication. And so much is now getting linked back to nutrition and a lot of the artificial foods and processed foods that the kids have been eating for the last 20 or 30 years as the generations are going has had a real impact on what we're seeing happening with our kids. And so it was so important for us to take on this issue and say, we got to get this processed food out of school lunches. We got to get these kids back on track and see if we can make some improvements to curb our numbers of obesity in kids in Louisiana and to see if we can improve some of these health conditions that we're seeing deteriorate so badly, not only in Louisiana, but in the whole country.
How do we go about the cost into this battle? Because fresh food costs more. Buying local generally tends to cost a little more. When you get the bad stuff, you can get it in bulk, to be sure, and there's a reason for that. But from a cost perspective, how do we take on that into the battle?
So that really is going to be the heart of where we see the fight. It's all about money. So the best way to tackle that is to incentivize healthy food. So if we can learn to give farmers, whether it's tax incentives or different breaks in producing these foods at a better cost or making them more available to families. And part of what we want to do is through social media is link up all of these Louisiana families and saying, look, here's a great local farm that produces X, Y, or Z. We would like some of those local farmers to incorporate their products into the school lunches. We've seen other states do that, use their natural resources within their state to start feeding their kids with the local farmers what they're producing. So the best way to do that is to incentivize those products. And if you're talking about whether in this particular bill, we talk about SNAP benefits. So for those recipients, you would incentivize healthier choices. You get more food if you buy fresh fruit and vegetables. So it's a way to incentivize giving the producers sort of better bang for their buck and using those local farms and making it more lucrative for them to produce more foods into our school lunches and those sorts of things, and the people who purchase it to give them more opportunity to get that. Because the big battle we'll see in the legislature and what we're seeing across the country is the soda companies or the soft drink companies are pushing back hard. They see what's going to happen to their revenue. They understand this is going to be a giant loss in income for them. So they're making it an issue of, people should have a choice type thing. And what we're seeing is a very strong pushback on that, saying everybody can go to the grocery and buy what they want, but we're not going to fund soft drink purchases anymore for families. In other words, you'd have to come out of your own pocket if you want to purchase a soft drink or a sugary drink, because it's going to come down to money in these battles in the legislature. The food companies who make the processed foods aren't just going to lay down and accept this. They're going to push back. So we have to find a way to push back equally as strong or stronger. And that seems to be happening across the country, which is, a very positive outcome for what we see.
We're talking with Laura Rodrigue from the Maha Moms about making our kids a little bit healthier, starting with the lunch program and then moving over to SNAP benefits as well. Laura, you mentioned 30 other states that are out there already have dove into this pool. Can you give us some comps along the way of like some of the smaller items that have been easier to adopt that we've seen elsewhere?
So this bill actually encompasses several of the smaller bills. This is Senator McMath, Senate Bill 14. It has 5 basic points. Those points have pretty much been divided into smaller bills across the country. So what we're seeing other states do that will now be encompassed in this one large bill with all 5 points is we're seeing continuing education requirements for physicians, which is a great thing. We'd like to eventually incorporate that into the medical schools. What that means is certain doctors like OBGYNs, internal medicine, family medicine, and pediatricians will be trained on nutrition-based medicine. So that means, is there a way to alter what they're eating and treat something that way before we automatically go to medication? Is nutrition basically causing some of the underlying issues? So we see continuing education in the medical field popping up in other states successfully. We see food notification. That's in this bill also. So we want food labeled in grocery stores. We have to simplify this for parents. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. When I go to the grocery, I don't have time to look up every individual item or ingredient. This should simplify that for parents, where you label food saying this is ultra processed or this food contains chemicals that have been banned in other countries. That's problematic for people. Why other countries are not even allowed to eat this? We're serving it in foods here. So those types of labels we see popping up in other states. That's in this bill as well, labeling products as ultra processed. We see in this bill a seed oil notification in restaurants. That way, if the restaurant's cooking in seed oils, they have to notify you. That has been linked to a lot of inflammation issues. So they just want families to be aware. You can still choose to order what you want, but you're aware now. You have a notification of it. So a lot of these, and then we, of course, the big one that we're most excited about is getting the processed foods out of school lunches. So it bans certain dyes and chemicals from being put in the breakfast and lunch that is being served at our schools. That's going to be a huge impact on what we hope the kids are consuming will, obviously an improvement there. So all of these are small components that have been happening around the country already, and Senator McMath encompassed it all in one large bill and has been working with the governor's office in sort of tackling all of these components and has been in contact with the Maha movement nationwide to say what's working, what's not working, what pushback do you get, and what do we need to be prepared for as we go forward with this legislation. So this bill is sort of the super bill for all of the legislation we see in the other states.
Absolutely. Well, we will be following it closely. SB 14 is the bill. The Maha Moms supporting Senator McMath and his bill. Laura Rodrigue, I appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Thank you so much for hopping on board.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. Power Hour continues. Dreams Come True Radiothon Power Hour. Go to talk1073.com right now. Make your donation for the Dreams Come True Radiothon presented by the Baton Rouge Clinic. If your donation ends in a 0.73, so I know we're 107.3, but if your donation ends in 0.73, you are automatically entered to win, for the potential to win 2 tickets to see Rob Schneider right here in Baton Rouge on May 16th for the You Can Do It show. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll close it out next. Oh, my word. I think I'm maxed out on the number of people who could text me during a show. God, dog. Oh, what's crazy about all this? The way politics are today, you have a group of Republicans actively pushing for the same nutrition standards that Michelle Obama pushed for when Barack was president. We were dead set against it then. Can't believe I made it this far, John. Oh, shit. Oh, so close.
Those few hours.
Almost to the finish line. I know. I didn't write an outside in last night.
You had one though, right? I thought you had one this morning, but no, you might have addressed it in the 7 o'clock hour of top stories and trending. I think it was the 5th story. What was that again?
Oh hell, I don't remember.
I know, but I thought you said you were saving it for the outside in, and then you did it as number 5. Well, I don't know why I'm drawing.
No, I did it at the end of the 7 o'clock hour. Say, Bo. No, it does not. 856 Talk 1073 FM. Alden rolling right along. If you have not yet gotten to talk1073.com to make your donation, the power hour is going to close out with the end of this hour as we hand off to Moon Griffon here on air. Yeah, any donation ending with a 73. $10.73, $20.73, $1,000.73. Don't care. If it ends in a 73, when you make your donation to the Dreams Come True Radiothon presented by the Baton Rouge Clinic, make your donation at talk1073.com. When you make that donation, we'll see it flagged coming across, and when we see it tagged with that 73 cents on the end of it, you are automatically entered to win 2 tickets. Entered to win. You're not guaranteed those tickets. You're entered to win 2 tickets to see Rob Schneider May 16th right here in Baton Rouge. Got to remind you about the folks over at Cajun Soft Wash. CajunSoftWash.com is the website. CajunSoftWash.com. If as we're coming out of, the temperatures are getting warmer, we're in springtime. We're actually seeing a lot of rain on and off again. Next week's going to be full on with the rain. But as weather rolls through and seasons change, things are left behind on your walls, on your roof, and the like. You want to make sure you're building your home or your business is looking as pristine as it possibly can. That goes for the walls, that goes for the roof, especially, and it goes for your sidewalks. Hit up CajunSoftWash.com and let them bring out their 100% safe and effective chemical soft washing process. They'll use a drone up on your roof, so there is no more unreachable place, and it actually lengthens the lifespan of your roof. Check them out at CajunSoftWash.com. Not enough time to get into another full-on story here. I do want to take a quick moment to note where we're at right now. On this April 16th, on this Wednesday of Holy Week, as I know a lot of folks will be shutting it down tomorrow, and especially on Good Friday, which, by the way, programming note, we're off on Good Friday. It'll be an encore presentation, a.k.a. best of show right here. But it's April 16th. This has got to be my favorite time of year in Louisiana. I know a lot of people look forward to tailgating season and whatnot. Yes, absolutely. Although I would posit, just go ahead and tailgate now, whatever it is you plan on doing. Going to baseball games? Okay, fine. Tailgate for that. Going to travel ball tournaments? Tailgate for that. Doesn't matter. It's what we do around here is tailgate. But it's my favorite time of year in that it's just there's so much going on that celebrates the lifestyle that is Louisiana. I got the opportunity to go to a reception last night hosted by the Louisiana Travel Association, and shout out to Chris and shout out to Megan and shout out to their whole team. And oh, by the way, shout out to Ryan Haney because the venue was awesome as well. But we're outside, back patio. Wayne Toops is performing, for crying out loud. And it's just moments like that, like last weekend with the crawfish cook-off. It's moments like that where you realize we live in a special place, y'all. Let's take advantage of it heading into this weekend. Gotta go. Moon's next. We do. We live in a special place. I just wanted to end on that. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. I got an interview coming up in just a few minutes that's actually not going to play back until Monday morning. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Later.